it back because I honestly cannot remember that. I'm not playing games, or I genuinely cannot remember it.
It was a beauty.
Yep.
Couldn't be that good.
It was that good, yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. I thought it was good, and that's all that matters. You lot can just fuck off.
I'll remember that one, Kelly.
That's okay. You remember it. If you don't, I'll write it down for you.
Yeah, cheers.
Give it to him at Donington Park.
Yep.
Along with the slap.
Yep.
And he pops you in the arse.
Oh, well, whoa.
Steady.
That one might take my
Not till
back
we've
a
had
bit more.
I'm not that kind of girl.
So let me shake his hand first, at least, Dan. Fucking hell.
Fury, is that all you got?
He's ill.
What do you mean? Is that all he's got? He's faster than me, you fucker.
That's not hard.
Oh. Scandalous. Next week.
I'll
You got
Probably this
send
one.
Kelly some money and get him to fucking unplug his shit.
you got to watch him next week, you know, Mike. He was that scared of the Merc slipstream last season. He put Keegs in a fucking wall, bless him. It's what got Dan a qualifying ban at Hockenham.
Shot himself.
It's what got that.
I swear he tapped my back end and that's why I lost it.
Kelly and Nick,
What do
you'll
you
get.
reckon was a quick time round Daytona?
34.
34? Oh, fucking hell, that's right then. I was worried for a minute. 34.
I'm not joking.
I thought it was 44.
Yeah, it's more like it.
Is it 40? I know it ends
It's
in a
more
4.
like it.
Yeah, I think I did a 44 last night.
Alright, yeah, 44 then. I think a 43.9 was...
I'm not joking. Well, you fucking was, weren't you?
Yeah, I knew it ended with a 4.
As I said, can I have my push back for next week?
No.
Guest appearance.
No.
Alright, Mazda.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, isn't it?
Next week, we're quitting.
And then the week after, I'll have a Merc, please.
Yeah. And then a cold, and then you'll be quitting because we've told you no.
You want the Bentley and the BMW after that?
Yeah, if you like. Might throw in a Lamborghini and a Cora just at the end.
Now we know you're lying.
Okay, fair enough.
Bastards.
I'd rather eat my own arm.
Yeah, what is the record? Is it a 30? Is it a 43?
What, for round here?
Daytona.
Oh, I'll have a look in a minute. Just let me press go live in a
It's
second, then
not
I'll have a look.
43. If the record's a 43, it's going to get fucking hammered tonight.
Well, don't forget, we've not done Red Bull Ring since season 1 where we could only change downforce.
Yeah, but that was still a 30.
No, I
something.
know.
That was easy.
That
Easy
was low
dubs.
30s still.
Aye, bro.
I had a better chance then.
Yeah.
Same.
Can we bring that ruling back tonight?
Kieran got a podium in the pro round Red Bull Ring in that Merc. That's how bad everybody was that night. And let's not forget. No, seriously, that was Kieran got a pole position, got a podium in a race at Red Bull Ring in season 1, mainly because Mazda didn't pull off at line and Keegs demolished AH off the line.
Demolished AH.
Do you not remember it?
Went through him like a brick fucking wall.
That was a nightmare off the line. It just went fucking carnage.
I'll have to load that up and click
Who was it? Someone didn't move.
Mazda did. No, so it was Mazda, AH, and Keegs in the M6 that qualified 1, 2, 3. Mazda didn't move, and Keegs got a fucking blinder, but had to avoid Mazda and span into the side of AH, annihilated him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Lap records for Bathurst, Daytona. Daytona. Qualifying is a 43.8. Race is a 44.6. Both done by Gary in Le Porsche.
Shit.
He had a good few toes for the race because the first few laps was me, Dan, and Gary, and then our stage left at turn 1.
In the Pro-Am, it is a 45.4 done by Monsieur Fury himself, and a 45.8 in the race done by Fury himself.
Was that last year?
That was last year.
Last season?
Yeah.
Last year.
Well, Kieran reckons I was doing 48s last year.
I thought Cam was the fastest, you know.
I didn't count Cam's
What
qualifying
was the
that time.
fastest?
Look at
he was
Monkey
on a
Boy and
flight, he
Peaceful's
was.
name at the top of the list on my notebook for a change.
What's that?
Monkey Boy and Peaceful's name are at the top of my Toy Story notebook list.
Why?
Is that a second page?
It's on it, mate. I'm nearly done here. Can't believe it. I need a new Toy Story notebook. Because Monkey Boy was first one into service, so I write down in terms of team order who joins the server so I can jot down for pit stops at night. Yeah, but I do it in teams. So because Monkey Boy's joined,
Right, yeah.
so Monkey Boy Peaceful, or it would have been Peaceful Monkey Boy if you'd have joined first. Oh, Dubs.
Sorry, that slipped out.
Right, I'm going into a party with Kelly. I shall speak to you after whoever's online for a bit of testing. In the game chat. Yeah, I'm happy to. Yeah, because everybody joins. Yeah, no worries, buddy. All right, catch you back in there. Yeah, best of luck, bye everyone. She's so lovely. I love you, Dan. I love you. I love you, Dan. Oh, I'll touch you at Dunnington, big boy. Knob. Yeah, bye. Yeah, faggot. Whoa, too far. There's a line. There's a fucking line, and I've crossed it. I saw Monkey Boy's microphone go in there. He loves it. Andrew. Nah, he's gone. Right, going in the party with your dad. Best of luck. And we're back. Who gets the purple pen? BT, Targa, and X-Smart.
I'm glad. Kieran didn't put any disputes in last night, did he? On me?
Not that I'm aware of, because he sends.
Good.
They've been sending them to Mike and Monkey Boy now, so not that I'm aware of. I've not seen anything in the chat, but there's been that many going that I've not had a proper look.
I could have bloody crucified him last night. Track limits, moving under braking. Do you remember I hit him in the rear at the that downhill corner, turn 4 they call it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you remember I hit him?
I class as turn 3. Yeah.
Yeah, because I class it as turn 3 as well. To be fair, he moved a treat under braking.
Oh, yeah, it's Kieran's specialty that. I had to have a go at Bryn today. To be fair.
Yeah, what for? Was that the brake check-in?
I just had to say the brake check-in, the what he did to Dean. Just like I said, look, I know it's a game, mate, but look, let's try and not do these things. Yeah. Like, the trouble is with Bryn is he's got Asperger's.
Oh, right, okay.
So you kind of have to be patient with him at times. And
sure.
I sort of had to chat with him without making it sound like I was just fucking digging at him. Do you know what I mean? He says, "Oh, if I get a penalty, I get a penalty. It is what it is." But yeah, I had a word with him because I thought, I'll back you, Bryn, as much as you need backing if I feel like you aren't in the wrong.
Yeah.
But when you're in the wrong and you do shit like that, I can't defend you.
That was it Maze? Was it Maze in front of him?
Yeah,
behind him.
Behind him. Yeah.
Fuck me, did he brake check? That wasn't braking early for the corner. That was like fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found out why, and it was a ridiculous reason.
And what was the ridiculous reason?
So they was going up the hill after turn 1, and what was I going to say? Yeah, they was going up the hill, and Bryn left Maze a car's width on the outside, and Maze decided to just sort of turn into Bryn to give himself a bit more room, and I was like, oh yeah, all right, that's a bit naughty, and then Maze kind of lost it himself and went into wall a little bit and just was excessively flashing Bryn for the rest of the lap, which, was a bit over the top, but at the same time, that was the reason why Bryn then brake checked him, and I thought, yeah, look, that's when you can leave it to us. There's no need to be doing that. You know, it might annoy you, but ignore it if you whatever. But Mays has then left himself to get in trouble anyway.
Yeah. He's going to get a penalty over that, isn't he?
Should do, yeah. So he should drop back to about 5th or 6th, I think it was, we reckon.
Excellent. That's more points. Although
I think you and Nicky will gain a place, but I don't think Joe will.
Yeah.
So it might help you gain a few more further forward.
Yeah, and kind of looking at that really, because I think the title's already gone. I don't think I think May's going to run away with it. To be fair, and I really want a title.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we're only round 4. So
no, we're halfway. So next week's the halfway mark.
Is it halfway next week? Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
11 and 12 next week.
Is it really? Bloody hell. Bloody hell. So it's actually round 5.
So this is round 9 and 10, so the 5th track, yeah.
5.
Yes, it's 5th track.
Yeah. Christ. Goes quickly, doesn't it?
Oh, flies by. When it's not here, it feels like it's been forever, and then when it comes, it comes and gets through it dead quick.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we're doing 2 rounds in one night, so like we're doing Red Bull Ring then Daytona. As 2 half-an-hour races, you know, it's once a week, but it does. It's
scary.
Flying.
I'm going to a friend's wedding next couple of weeks' time, because it can't be next weekend. And he's like a little bit like my Dean Wasocki. Right.
Yes.
He's a dick.
Yes.
He's a dick, but I'm kind of stuck with him. Do you know what I mean? He's one of those crosses to bear in life. Yeah.
He's a harmless guy, but he does your fucking head in.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a little bit more than harmless, but yeah. Right.
I get you.
But he's a mate, right? So blah blah blah, and he fucking he's marrying this girl that he's only known for fucking met her in lockdown, right? So it hasn't been very long, and she's nice enough, but she rates herself as a fucking DJ, right?
Right.
And from what I can work out, she's DJ'd a little bit in Spain, right? But not like fucking, warmed up, not like warmed up fucking Fatboy Slim or anything. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking, like done a little bit in a fucking bar, like, you know? Anyway, she kind of loves it, thinks she's some fucking, like, whatever, right? So, anyway, their wedding, a couple of weeks' time, right? They asked me if I would DJ it, and I said no. I said, no, I don't want to fucking work. If I'm going to your wedding, I want to go as a guest. Right? So I go to a lot of weddings, so I go to very few as a guest, you know? Yeah. So I want the full experience, right? Anyway, fucking said, oh, sorry, we know plenty of DJs, blah, 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 and they got this one guy, he's going to do it for him. And this week he turned around and he says, oh, no, I can't do it now, right? So they're like, oh, we're fucking stuck now, blah, blah, blah. Ring me up and say, oh, we're fucking DJs let us down. I'm like, fuck's sake. What do you want to do about it? I said, what budget you got? I'll see if I can get you someone. Oh, no, we ain't got any money, you know? And I'm like, fuck me, man. Not only am I going to end up DJing this, I'm going to end up DJing it for nothing. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck it, I can't leave them without. Anyway, they got themselves a DJ. I don't know what the fuck he's going to be like, but right.
But they've got one.
Yeah. So, it fucking makes me laugh, right? He's just sent me a fucking message, right? And I've got a DJ booth which looks like the front of a split screen VW camper.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it looks brilliant. To be fair,
Yeah. Well, because he's into Volkswagens as well, and he's another one of those. He's probably into Volkswagens because I'm into it, you know, and it's trendy, you know. Yeah. And so he said, "Oh, can we use your DJ front?" I said, "Yeah, of course you can." I said, "But if you fucking damage it, then you pay for me to repair it." Yeah. And I said, we'll call it my wedding gift here. And like, yeah, right on. So they're fucking having that, nevertheless, right? So he's just sent out this fucking post, this picture, right? Like a caption. Yeah. And it's saying, oh, really hope you can enjoy us on our special day, blah, 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 blah. We don't have a guest list. We know you understand people's context, blah, 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 blah. We really want to... Blah, blah, blah. A gift of money would be really lovely for a rainy day.
Right.
Fuck off. A gift of money... Not a fucking chance. Do you know what I mean? I think that's that's almost like fucking begging. That is.
You see, me and Beth, when we got married, we never asked for a gift.
Yeah.
We just, accepted whatever people felt they wanted to give us.
Yeah.
All right, now the majority did give us money. Like a granddad gave us.
If they choose to, Matt, that's fine.
Yeah, we never put a gift. Because I know there's weddings where they'll look to put like a gift list out and stuff, and they'll do.
It's quite old-fashioned these days, isn't it?
It is.
But,
me and Beth, we didn't bother with that. If people wanted to get us stuff, we wasn't going to turn it away. But at the same time, we never asked for anything.
No.
We mainly got a lot of money. I think we got a couple £100. And we never actually spent it on ourselves. We spent it on the kids' Christmas presents. Because we got married just before Christmas, And it was all brilliant. But at the same time, it was, you'd feel cheeky to ask. I'd have felt like if I'd have done something like that, I'd have felt very cheeky if I was saying, or give us money. If somebody come to me and says, like if you came to me and says, I don't know what to get you as a gift, it'd either be, don't be silly, or, if you don't know what to give us, whatever, we'll take anything sort of thing. I'm not going to say, I'll just have money off of you then. No.
I would never say that in any situation, do you know what I mean? It's just like, just a no. Just an absolute no for me.
We'll quickly run to the toilet before we start.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I might do that as well.
We started about time to get down there, so quiet please. Who's not in yet? No Sooty.
Okay, back in the room.
Yeah, same here, literally just. Who is not in yet? That is the big question. No Sooty.
We got
no
Monkey,
Leach.
Disco, Peaceful, Andy, Dan, BT, X-Mart, D-Biggs, Gary, Fury, Little Leach.
Yeah, I'm just texting Little Leach and Sooty because I don't think Mazda's racing.
No Phil tonight either?
I think Phil's at work tonight. Sooty's just got in.
What's going on with Maz then? Is he fucking quitting again or what?
He says he's not well. But he wasn't well. He was fine Sunday when he raced. And he says he's not well. Now, I can't disprove that he's not well, but at the same time...
No, but it's convenient,
I don't know
isn't it?
whether to... Yes, exactly. After he retired twice. So, yeah, it's a bit annoying, but hey, ho. We'll see, like I put in the admin chat, Peaceful basically said, we'll see what happens next week. If he's here next week, then we do nothing. If he's not here, then maybe we discuss with him.
Sounds like you lot had a discussion the other day.
Well, we had the discussion over the Mercedes Benz about you've got to make this one stick now. You've got to stick with this for the rest of the season. Change car at the end of the season. That's fine, but this is your car now, and yeah. Craig's running late.
Okay.
Right, so I'm just going to start then.
Well, just start then.
I will. When the loading screen goes to the track,
yeah,
be quiet
now
on the track. No, when it goes onto the track bit from here,
yeah,
that's when we're back live. even though it takes a few seconds for me to press it on my PC. Because I noticed last week we was just chatting with Andy, and then I pressed it on the PC. It's actually when it goes to the track on our PlayStation screens that we are actually live.
Okay. Right. I'll take it that we're live from that point.
Yeah. That's how I've started to do it Monday and last night. So, just from watching back that I noticed, basically. Bring this mic a bit closer. Do a little dance. Make a little love.
Make a little love. Get down tonight.
Yes. I take it that's a song.
It is, yeah. Casey and the Sunshine Band.
See, do you know if I heard all these, I'd probably know them from.
Yeah, you probably would. You probably know.
Get the dashboard on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. Here for your pro session tonight. What a evening we have in store for you guys. It is going to be action-packed. I'm Matthew Duffin, joined in the commentary box by Kelly Davis once again. Sweden Sticky in your box, Kelly. How are you?
I'm feeling good, mate. Yep, feeling good, and I'm excited to be here in Austria at Spielberg for the A1 ring.
A1 ring. Oh, back in time there, aren't we? Hey, going back in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Very well, thank you. Very, very well, especially after last night's racing where we saw Maze Gamer take 2 back-to-back wins, but is under investigation due to penalty infringement, pit stop infringement in the second race. So more information will be posted in the coming week as of that one. But we're here for the Pro tonight. 11 drivers, Little each running late. No Phil, he's at work. No Mazda, he's under the weather. And no Jamie Brazier. No Liam as well this week. Liam hoping to be back out there next week or the week after. He says he's got his wheel now back at home and he's looking to get them laps in and not be a danger to the other drivers. So felt that he was going to leave out tonight and try and come back next week or the week after. And at least he's acknowledging that he was a danger and looks to improve on that before he gets back out there on the circuit.
Right attitude for sure.
Kelly, Red Bull Ring then, what do we have in store tonight? I'll let you just talk us through as what we have in store while I take my jumper off.
Okay, good. I think we've got a proper good scrap on tonight. That's what I'm looking forward to. Because this man on screen, Andy, is really quite handy, Andy, around this Red Bull Ring. So, as is this guy here, Unorthodox, who's first man out. And he's keen. And he knows that it's just going to get colder as the evening goes on. And all your best times will be done at the beginning of the session. So, Dan getting a feel for the conditions. As I said, I think we're in for a titanic scrap between these two this evening. That's what I'm hoping for anyway, to be fair.
Yeah, so as I think most of us are, let's see what the BMW could do. Now, the first time we was here, we've not actually been here since Season 1, so a bit before your time then, Kelly, here at SimPlay Motorsport.
Yeah,
but what I can tell you was, the Race 1 qualifying was a BMW 123, the independent of AH, the team of Mazda and Keegs, in the M6 BMW. It was a 123 on that occasion. We all know what happened back at the start if you've been here since Season 1. We all remember Keegs and Mazda not getting away well and end up Keegs into the side of AH, but seems pretty much an M6 track, and if that's the way it goes tonight, I mean, based off the times we've seen in testing, it could look that way as we go further into the evening. But we hope for a bit of a dogfight. Fury, what can he do? He's looked great as of late. His form has been brilliant. You've also got BT Targa and X-Mart in their Porsches. What they can do tonight will be a good question. And Gary and Little each in that Renault once more. Are they finally going to get the Renault right around here? I saw Gary was quick in testing the other night.
Yeah. From my own experience, the Renault is pretty good round here, and I had a couple of fourth places last night, and was holding. I was only 10 seconds off the lead at the end of the race last night, so there wasn't a huge gap. So I think the Renaults have got a good chance tonight. It's anybody's night tonight, really, isn't it?
It kind of is as well. The Merc tonight, we say this every week, the Merc tonight isn't as strong as what it is on a Wednesday night. Will we see what the Merc's potential is around this track of Peaceful and Monkey Boy, because I don't think the Merc on a pro night, I think at certain tracks it looks good. I think at tracks like this, I don't think the Merc can do very well. I've struggled around here in testing myself. This man, Sooty Apex, he's a man who could be on fire around here tonight. He's the Lamborghini, a car that's quick. But what can it do in this man's hand? You see him there really gaining on the Porsche under brake and did run deep. We say evening to Disco Face, Audio Sport, our sponsor, Peaceful Stepdad, Nicky, Fury's Grandad, Jamie Brazier and Kieran Argent in the chat. Jamie saying, Jamie Brazier saying, I remember that very well. I was commentating that night. Jamie was commentating on Red Bull Ring the night that Mazda and Keegs and AH had their incident. And Kieran Argent, if I remember correctly, I qualified 4th behind Mazda and Keegs. And Kieran went on.
all left out of the party. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I really do. I really do.
I know. What a shame you wasn't here from the start. But
well, there you go.
Kieran actually took his only pro podium at Red Bull Ring in season 1, but back then it was middle of summer, middle of the day. This is our first night race of the season, Kelly, in the pro. And just before we get into our first night race of the season, I'm just going to run us through the current championship standings, because I know Kelly's just dying to listen to the. We'll get to the qualifying stats when we head into qualifying. But as we go into this one, then, it's Andy who leads the way after a very successful double points week at Donington Park. Last week, he leads Dan by 25 points. And Unorthodox sits second. Fury, a man in 3rd place. Many people maybe not expecting him to do as well as he has, but he's stuck to that Mercedes and he's going great guns at the moment. Disco McDisco Face, he sits in P4 after a bit of a poor Donington Park. He's in a point behind Fury. Gary, who's not had a great season this season, but he's up there in 5th place and shows how quick Gary is as a driver and how good Gary actually is. He's ahead of D Big. Sooty then is down in 7th place with X Martin 8th. BT Target is 9th, and that's not bad for the 2 Porsche drivers on their first outing, if you will, in the Pro Series. Little Each, Peaceful, is down in 10th with Little Each in 11th place. Monkey Boy is in P12 with Phil in 13th. Big Boy Brazier then, obviously, he's pulled out, but he's 14th. If he was to come back, he'd carry on from there, as Little Each has now got in the session. That Buzzy Boy is 15th and Mazda 16th and on 1 point. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, it's BMW's Slingshot Motorsport who have a 40-point lead over the defending champions Slingshot Shake and Bake. The Leachy losers, to say they're struggling in that Renault, Kelly, is an understatement, but they sit 3rd in the Constructors' table, just ahead of Team Prolapse with Wakasaki Racing in P5. GQ Motorsport a point behind them, and Run Flat Racing a point behind them. So it's very tight between Wakasaki, GQ and Run Flat Racing in that midfield. Ironbury Racing and then SimPlay Racing bringing up the rear. No drivers making their 50th appearance tonight or any milestone for that. Again, the only current thing that can happen tonight is Dan could equal and beat Jamie and become the all-time leading race wins holder at SimPlay Motorsport. Jamie Brazier currently holding that one on 22 race wins. But that's not wins in a season, that's wins overall here at SimPlay Motorsport. No one else making any appearances that gets them near 50 though. But Kelly, first night race of the season. It's good to be back in the dark, isn't it?
I had a bit of incident last night. If you didn't watch last night's racing, we had some cracking racing last night. So when you get an opportunity, not now, go back and watch it on the SimPlay channel on YouTube, and go back and watch it back. There was a bit of an incident early doors in race 2, and I had my lights smashed in by flying. Could be Dean Wasaki, who was spinning through the air and tumbling and whatever, and just caught the front of my car. Didn't do too much damage, but did smash my lights, which is a little bit tricky in the dark, having no lights. But it wasn't the end of the world, because you can kind of see the edge of the track. And there is some lights here, but not loads of them. Yeah,
I was just about to say, that's the thing with Red Bull Ring. We go to Daytona next week, which is our regular night race, which is well lit, very well lit for Daytona, but with it being an oval circuit and NASCAR race in the night time as well. There's also the great big Ferris wheel that's lit up, so that kind of lights up the track on the infield. But Red Bull Ring, very dark, very different kind of night race around here.
Yeah, it's not a track that they normally do night stuff, is it? So it's, it's and if they do, it's kind of GT stuff with stuff that's got headlights and whatever. Where you're some of your other tracks, that are well known for night races. I want to say Dubai, not Dubai. What's the Formula 1 one?
Singapore,
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, which has got, permanent light fixtures all the way around and light the track like daylight. Singapore being the same. This is not that kind of track, but as I say, for the GT cars with headlights, it's okay when you've got headlights. It doesn't faze you too much, really.
No. And it's just a different track. It's a well-known track, is the Red Bull Ring, and the fact that you have to do it at night time gives it a different factor and different kind of feel to it, I suppose, in a way, Kelly.
Yes, maybe not, Matt. I mean, I kind of think that it doesn't make that much difference. You know, you kind of don't think about it after a little while. And this is a track, as you say, a popular track. All these guys will be very well versed. We've all sim racers have done lots of laps around the Red Bull Ring. You know, it's like Monza and Imola and Silverstone. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those kind of classic tracks that everyone's, you know, raced over and over again. So, you know, I think there'll be nobody really at a disadvantage for not putting lots of not having track knowledge on this one, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean, and like you say, it is a very well-known track. No matter what game is played or what motorsport you kind of watch, you know what the Red Bull Ring is, you know what it has to offer in that sense, although they are making a change to it, I believe, for the bikes next year. I think it's Kieran Argent who was telling me. Just where Fury is now, I believe, they're putting in like a mobile chicane that will be removed for like the F1 and stuff, just to slow the bikes down up the straight. I'm sure it was Kieran who told me that. I might be wrong, but
could be.
Yeah,
I mean, Superbikes are very dominant. You know, it's a very well followed championship, isn't it? You know, and I know the changes that they made at Catalonia this year that we had in the Formula One weren't nothing to do with the Formula One. It was about the Superbikes.
And I think the change of this track it's not permanent, so it's something that will be installed sort of on the day or that weekend, shall I say. Speaking of the bikes in Formula One, did you hear the news today?
What news was that, Matthew?
Qatar will be on the calendar this season, the Qatar Grand Prix, which the Superbikes or MotoGP go round each year. And not only will it be on this year, it's just signed a 10-year deal as from 2023 to be permanent on the calendar. So I think it replaces Suzuka this year, and Qatar is the replacement for Japan this year. And then in 2023 it's a permanent fixture on the calendar, so we will travel to Qatar in the F1. We'll get to go there in 2 years' time for the next 10 years. Looking forward to that, because it's a track I don't follow the bikes personally, so it's a track I've never really seen, but looking at the layout and the pictures today, looks an interesting track.
Yeah, I did see that news, but I didn't look into it any further than just seeing the headline. I don't know the track either, so but yeah, new tracks, we like new tracks, don't we? Especially in Formula One, just to spice things up a little bit.
Do you want a few stats, Kelly, quickly?
Oh, please. I just thinking to myself, I'm feeling a bit left out on stats. I need some stats.
Well, I'll give you the qualifying ones when we get there in 3 minutes' time, but the race and qualifying lap records I'll give you now, a little stat fact. Mazda, in that BMW, holds the lap record from Season 1. Now, bearing in mind Season 1, you was limited to just changing downforce only, so you couldn't make any other setup changes to your car, just the downforce. Mazda did a 129.5 in qualifying. Now, if you look at one lap pace at the minute, that would put Mazda second out of these guys at the minute. His race pace was a 129.8. So I mean that's good stats, and that that kind of reiterates what I was saying earlier about BMW in Season 1 being brilliant. The two BMWs are 1-2 at the minute, and that kind of backs up the fact of the BMWs.
Daytime, though, yes.
That was middle of the day at 29.8. So the fact that, but bearing in mind, we're kind of still on a level playing field, because even though that was middle of the day, the guys could only change the front and rear wing downforce.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the night, but these get full change on their setups.
Absolutely.
So interesting to see the times that Mazda put in then is very similar to now. As Red Bull Ring changing for the bike, says Kieran. Yeah, that's what I was just on about. Jamie saying in the chat, remember when Craig and Gary won in an Acura? And I'm going to get this one out there, Kelly, because I know you'll love you'll love this one. Craig and Gary, so Little Each and Gary 131, won in an Acura in the first test session for Season 1. That's right, they did. We streamed every test session on a Wednesday and a Thursday night. We basically did 3 tracks that night, and all the drivers had like an half-an-hour test session followed by like a 5-minute race as we built up to the launch of SimPlay Motorsport Season 1. And Gary and Little Each was testing the Acura for the first season and got a 1-2 and held Sooty Apex in what was a brilliant race. Only 5 laps, but fantastic, because Sooty was looking everywhere to pass them and couldn't, because these two Acuras was just side by side. He got a 1-2, so I thought I'd get that one in there, because I know you're going to sleep happy tonight, knowing that you know the Acura took a 1-2.
Well, you're gonna have a Kellyism right here, and I'm gonna say sun shines on a dog's arse some days.
We're gonna get. I need to get it printed on a T-shirt, I think, for you.
Yeah, I should get that. Yeah, I should. Yeah, it's one of my favourites.
Just turn up to Donington next week wearing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Along with Rattler and Pasties. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, when one of the drivers, like when Matt Neal says something to you in garages or something, and you just point to your top, so you don't even have to say it for him.
Yeah.
Matt, read that. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, read that. Mate. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Let's have a little chat about track limits, shall we?
Yes, let's.
As we were on board with Andy, who took a bit of a liberty with turn one there, and there's a couple of spots on this track which will one coming up in just a moment as Andy comes down to the last section. Really easy just here. He hits the 50-metre board and brakes to run out wide. I know he's well inside there at the moment, but very easy to run wide on that one, and quite easy to run out on the last corner and the first one, isn't it? The first. Yeah. Now it's an uphill 90-degree, over 90-degree right-hander as he's coming up. Usually brake about the 100-metre board. Take the curb on the inside, which he doesn't bother in. Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Andy. That was a perfect demonstration of where you don't want to be. But very, very easy to run wide on these corners, isn't it, Matt?
It is. It's very easy to run wide on these corners. And unlike Donington last week, where you ran wide, you was instantly met by grass or gravel. Round here, you get a lot of runoff area. Turn two, I don't think you compensate a lot from running wide. Now, we had this conversation last night. Track limits, don't forget, you have to keep two wheels on the curb at all times. So even if Andy has ran wide, provided he's got two wheels on the curb, the curb is the track limits. That is the track limits for every track. Mazda had this discussion with me in the week last week, saying that but on the game registers the track limits as the AstroTurf, and provided you're off the AstroTurf before the end of it, you're within the track limits. Great. Fine for the Red Bull Ring. It's not like that everywhere else. So what we have done as a league is you've got to have two wheels at least on the curb at all times, meaning that the curb, the exit at the very outside edge of the curb is track limits.
So yes, as we're looking on track now, so the red and white curb, if you run across, so you can have both wheels over the white line as long as you're not over the red and white curb. Yeah, as long as they're over the curb, but you've got to be back on the track as the curb ends. So here, especially the last corner, you can be on that red and white curb over it as long as you want, but you've got to be on your two wheels have to be on that track before the curbing ends, as the practice session has came to an end and the last car is coming round to complete its lap time. It will be Sooty Apex, who currently sits in P8 and improves. No, he stayed P8 in the end, but Andy and Disco McDisco Face are the only two in the 29s. No, they're not. That's a lie. Ignore me. Right. They are the two that are the quickest at the minute, but it's Andy Disco, Fury, D-Biggs, Unorthodox, Gary, BT Targa, Sooty Apex within 0.8 of a second, the top 8. The two Mercedes struggling as the last two cars on the grid. It's interesting to see that the BMW is again keeping up that stack of what I said about Mazda being the quickest in qualifying, and the BMWs, as one of them's just hit the wall on pit exit there as it comes out its garage. Backing that up, black wing mirrors, that would be Disco. No, I was looking at Dan. Dan came out the pits and hit the pit wall.
Ah, brilliant. There we go then. And didn't Dan say that Dean did that last night?
Yeah, he did say something about Dean did it last night. He came straight out and hit the pit wall. I don't... I'm just going to look on the stream to see it happen, and it's just going to happen on... Because the stream's... We're slightly behind what happens on the stream, but Dan comes shooting out like a rocket and crashes into the wall. Yeah,
crashes the pit wall. Did you see the BMW behind sort of hit his garage as he came out as well? That was quite funny.
No, it didn't happen on the stream. Not like it did on my screen. That is really odd.
Yes, very strange.
Because you can see Unorthodox on your screen right now. Has he got two headlights?
Yeah, he has,
No damage?
No.
On my screen, he's got front smashed right in, one headlight.
Brilliant.
Isn't that odd?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Right, the drivers on their outlap. Yeah. Would you like a qualifying stat?
Oh God! Yes, please.
This is what you wait for all week, isn't it?
All week.
Andy and
my week. What a sad life I have.
Andy and Unorthodox share the most pole positions this season with 2 each to their name. So Andy and Dan having 2 poles each. And let's not forget, Dan, not the best qualifier last season, only 3 pole positions to his name. Has he upped his game this season? The best average qualifying out there is a P2 of Unorthodox. He's yet to come off that front row. Remember, Fury has a record of that. Every race last season, Fury started on the front row for race 1. The worst average qualifying is actually Phil, 2 14th places in Q1. Sooty averages 10th place, and Monkey Boy averages P11. Everybody else, BT Target and Xmart average P10, 11 as well. Everybody else under 10th place. The 2 best average qualifiers is Unorthodox. I'm not going to count Jamie's 3rd place, as he only did it once. He's Unorthodox and Andy 2nd and 3rd. Everybody else kind of averaging around that midfield pack. Also, most pole positions, which I don't think we've done on the stream yet. Most pole positions overall at SimPlay Motorsport. We keep all the stats here. Jamie Brazier leads that on 19, but Andy, 2nd place on 14 pole positions in his time here at SimPlay Motorsport. Dan is actually 6th on that list. He only has 8 pole positions to his name. To Andy's 14. Dan is behind Fury, Mazda, Gary, and Andy as well. Kelly, just trying to find your name on this list.
It's only been one.
Yes, one pole position. You're in an elite club, my friend. An elite club of Little Each, Welshie, That Bozzy Boy, Phil, Keegs, Emo Guy, Disco, Kelly, Smoky Devil, Xmart, myself, Valeside, Ben Phelan, Don't Know Mate, and Ukbar are all in that. Are all in that category of one pole.
So just about everybody who hasn't had more than one. I don't know where I'm going with that. What I'm saying is pretty much the whole league has had one, at least.
Yes. Fury's granddad in the chat. Has Dan got plenty of fuel? Now, this goes back, for these who don't know what this one is, this goes back on, Kelly. What was you going to say, sorry?
I heard his bull excuse last night about very little fuel in Cornwall. To his little mistake on Monday night where I believe he ran out of fuel, did he, in the Clios?
Got to the penultimate lap of the Clios. He'd have had enough for his last lap, but would have ran out at the very end. Dan was 1 lap short of fuel, so on the penultimate lap had to make a splash and dash for fuel, which cost him a fight for the win. It cost him a 2nd place overall, and it cost him, a lot of points. He's now 10 points behind Falguest in that championship. It promoted Fury. Peaceful come away with a 4th place, and Peaceful struggled in them Clios, but it was absolutely brilliant. So let's see if Dan does have enough fuel in his car as he goes along tonight. In this one, Kelly's pole was Daytona last season, if I'm correct. Kelly?
It was. It is.
Which was, if I remember, one of the best races I've seen in Pro-Am, where you and Kieran battled for so long, and you managed to outdo the overpowered Mercedes at Daytona.
I did. It was a cracker. One of my absolute favourites. Although me and Kieran were in very close company last night as well for a lot of the meeting, and I think that's the way it's going to continue. To be fair, I think me and Kieran are kind of going to be on the same part of the tarmac a lot for the rest of the season, to be honest, which is encouraging because Kieran's going well, going very well.
Going very well indeed. Kieran looks a new driver. Dan currently into the 28s with a 28.7. Wow, that's a good lap time. That's a new record. I tell you what, he's making the Beamers work for the pole position this time round. Him and Biggs are in the pits. Gary's on a 29.3, so Gary really getting the best out of his Renault.
Going to be better tonight.
Yeah, I think they are. Look at BT Targa as well. He's in 3rd place. Sooty's currently 4th. Here comes Andy, though, the man who people are watching tonight. Him and Disco in that M6 crosses the line. Does a 28.8, 300ths of a second off the back of Dan. What can Disco McDisco Face do? Then where is Disco? Towards the end of the middle sector, and I can tell you now he's on a personal best. As the phone's giving me a green sector for him, not on a session best. So Dan setting the pace, Andy as well matching that sort of pace from Dan, and Disco goes green in Sector 2 as well. So not quite yet a purple Sector 2 either. So he's still got some work to do in that BMW at the moment, but I'm sure he's giving it absolutely everything to get on the pace. Into the penultimate corner he comes now. What will his lap time be as he gets towards the final corner and the line? Still up on his Delta. Is that the case? Gary's back into the pits. Everybody's on track. And here comes Disco McDisco Face then. Crossing the line now and puts himself P3 at 29.1. There's a lot of quick time tonight, Kelly. Now, I want to ask you something, Kelly. Yes. 10-minute qualifying last night. Me and Dan and me and yourself have said it since last season, the importance of being on track for the short 10-minute qualifying. The 5-minute qualifying was absolutely thrilling to watch.
No. It wasn't thrilling to drive. It wasn't thrilling at all. No, I totally disagree on what you're going to say.
Oh, I was all for it. I thought it looked brilliant.
I think 10 minutes is short enough, to be fair. You know, what's 10 minutes? 6 laps? Like 7 laps, like a track like this? If you do them all one after another, you know? I think 10 minutes is enough. I did Daytona. I did it in... not Daytona, Donington last week. I did it in 2 separate sessions. I did 2 5-minute sessions. I think, personally, 10 minutes is
Did you not enjoy the rush of the 5-minute qualifying? Oh crap! I need to get a lap in. Let's go.
No, I didn't, because I do that on a 10-minute anyway.
Right.
You know,
okay.
So, and as it happened, the disconnection actually didn't do me any good, because I lost 2 places over that. I was actually in 3rd when qualifying finished, and then I got kicked along with a few others.
BT Targa has just been given a 1-place grid penalty then in that one, as a flash of the lights from, I believe that's Andy, the Red Wing Mirrors, giving Fury a flash of the lights there.
Yeah, just to tell him that he's come in and get out of the way. I wasn't a fan of a 5-minute. I heard you two talking about it, and no. But hey, you know, what do I know?
One thing I want to say is what a shame Sooty Apex must have crashed and pitted at Sector 2, because he went purple Sector 1. And he's still in the pits, and I don't think Sooty's coming out to do one more lap. Neither is Xmart, and Monkey Boy's pitted as well. So BT Targa, Monkey Boy's in the pits as well, so they're not going to get another lap in. But Sooty was purple in the first sector. What a shame, as Monkey Boy's in the pits and Xmart's just gone quicker than him. Jim Brazier saying that 5-minute qualifying was very enjoyable. And a good evening to PN Motorsport Gaming and to Smithy, who had a cracking night last night on his 50th appearance. Absolutely.
Got to say hello to my Prolapse teammate Nicky, who said hello earlier in the chat. It was his birthday this week. There was a big Prolapse birthday party. We've all seen The Wolf of Wall Street, haven't we?
No.
Have you not? Well, you need to watch that. It was a bit like that.
Right, okay, as Andy's just gone pole position with a 1:28.735, 400ths quicker than unorthodox. I just looked at my phone and saw he was purple in the middle sector, and he has creamed in a cracking lap there. And Andy on provisional pole. Dan currently, though, doing a mega job splitting the BMW so far, doing a job that he needs to do. Gary, P4, what a lap he's had. There's drivers coming into the pit, so Xmart then will start P11 as he's now just pitted as well. So it's a shame for Xmart, because he had the pace in the queue in the practice session, but he's not going to improve on P11. Little Each is still out there, so he can improve on P10. But what can Dan do at the minute? He's down. Just looking at my screen, BT Targa's green in the middle sector, but he's in the pit, so he's done. Little Each, no improvements really from anybody here.
No, and the theory, I think that you and Dan kind of worked out. It gets colder. Funnily enough, at night, and the more this session goes on, the more this evening goes on, the colder the conditions are going to become. So, it's all going to be done towards. Saying that, I mean, Andy just did his lap reasonably a couple of minutes ago, didn't he? And got that time. But as the night goes on, track is going to get cooler, and it's going to get more difficult for these guys. That much is for sure.
Yes, without a doubt. And as Gary's still out there on a lap, Andy is actually on a green lap as he's coming towards the line, and actually improves his time by a bit more and goes to a 1:28.3, so he's 4/10ths quicker than Dan. Oh, that's a quick lap from Andy. Can Gary improve? The last man to do a lap here. Can he improve at the very end?
We're going to have a scrap on tonight. We are. Don't go anywhere, people. Oh, that's track.
Yeah, that looks.
Yeah. My gosh, you were nearly in the mountains.
And that's qualifying done then. So, did BT
Yes.
Target, how many place grid penalty did he get? Just the one, so that'll demote him to 6th and give Fury 5th place in the end then. But it is Andy who is on pole position here, and what a lap from Andy it was. That is his 3rd pole position of the season. Good job from him in this one. Gary P4, that's a great qualifying for Gary. I'm sure he'll absolutely take that one. Disco P3, I'm sure he'd have wanted to be with his teammates Pace on the P5, on the P1 front row of the grid, but wasn't able to get that. BT Targa P5 will start P6. Fury gets promoted to 5th, not bad from him. Sutty in 7th with D-Biggs down in 8th place. Been a bit quiet, D-Biggs, this season. Don't feel like he's having the season that he had last year in terms of his consistency. Peaceful, Little Each, Xmart and Monkey Boy struggling, and he said to me last week that, my season will kickstart somewhere. He's just needs it to start sooner rather than later.
Yes, absolutely.
As we get ready then for the start of this race, N-Dubs flying in the Porsche PN Motorsport. Now will there be carnage like last night's Pro-Am? He says, probably not. These guys tend to know what they're doing in these pro cars. Well, yes. I tend to find that when we're up for an exciting race, the pro boys are very spread out, bit dull, and off they go sort of thing.
Well, this is one of those tracks, although it isn't... it's a reasonably short track. 1 minute 30 to get round it in a GT car, which is a little bit longer than we were at Donny. But we will have... it will be quite close company, I believe. So anything can happen. You know what it's like. Anything can happen, and don't count anybody out on this grid for a win tonight. No, I think the cars are all very evenly matched in the hands of these pro guys, really. And I think it's kind of echo that. I mean, Gary there in 4th. Yeah, as I said, I put a 3rd in. With the Renault. The Renault is much better around here than it has been in previous tracks. So that's encouraging because we want to see both Gary and Little Leach, to be fair, back towards the front. But not everyone can be at the front.
This is
12
it.
drivers. It's can't all be first, can they? So I think tonight's going to be some good racing, but
yes, I do
we will see in just a few minutes.
We will see. There is also one driver on double points, and we'll get to him, who is just before race 2 starts. I believe Kelly kind of has an idea of who it is, but obviously we won't say anything until race 2. Does Dan have enough fuel, says PN Motorsport? It's another fuel comment against Unorthodox then. They love it, don't they? Yeah, no, they're not letting him go here. They're really rubbing it in now. Well done, PN. As the lights come on, then we're synced up. There's 3 red lights now. It's green here, it's go at in Spielberg, the Red Bull Ring. Couldn't get my words out. Jamie says Sutty sent it into turn 1. Do not count that one off as the BMWs get a decent start. Dan managing to hold on to P2. Andy got away really well. Fury has got past Gary. He's up to 4th already off the line, all cleanly through turn 1. And Andy already flashing. Disco really starting to attack Unorthodox here. Being forced to the outside at turn 2 isn't necessarily the worst way to go. Now, what is happening with Andy here? Because Dan has really gained on him. Up the straight in towards turn 2. Disco being forced very, very wide there. All fine at the first lap. He kind of let them off at the first couple of corners as it filters down into this race. But look at Fury. He's under attack from Gary just behind these front 3. Gary looking to get up that inside line. Can he get it done on the brakes? Very good on the brakes is the Renault. And here comes Disco up the inside and down at turn 3. And that one looks job done. BMW 1-2 at the minute.
Yes, indeed, that Disco went in all guns blazing with that one. He's had a go at Andy now as well. What's going on? Dan's gone deep, very deep. That's put him back. He's gone back.
Yeah, he's lost that to Gary. Gary's had a wiggle. And Dan's gone with him.
Taking Dan with him.
Yeah, Gary had a huge wiggle and seemed to come across the front of Gary there. Sutty very wide as Little Each is now up into P4. But what was happening with Andy there? He looked very, very slow for some reason. Not sure why. But it's Disco, Andy, Fury, BT, D-Biggs has come from 8th up to P5 at the minute. With Little Each 6th. Unorthodox is now 7th. Gary, who had that major moment in front of Dan. Dan did tap Gary there as well. I think that was just because Gary comes straight in front of Unorthodox. Did that give Dan any slightly doubt? Yeah, I think he was. I don't think it was from Dan, but did that give Dan damage?
Well, yes, we're yet to find that out. But that's track limits, boys.
Yeah.
And Could it? Yes, it probably could. But I think Gary was losing it all by himself in the middle of that corner as we cut to him. But I was kind of interested in what was going on. I was just commented when it all started that Disco was quite aggressive into what we're going to call turn 3, but fair, but definitely aggressive. And now look at Fury.
Yeah, Fury having a good look at the back of Andy here and the BMW.
What's going on with Andy?
Andy's defending now. Then, well, Fury's not really. It's not like Disco's got away up the road, is it? Fury attacking here. BT and Unorthodox now is getting ahead of his teammate D Biggs. Dan's come back through into P5 now as D Biggs he's led his teammate through. As he led him through, did Dan get past him? Not sure, but either way. He's got past Little Leach, he's got past D-Biggs, he's up into P5, he's got a clear Team Prolapse member, BT Targa, and then he's got a few seconds back to this fight of Fury and Andy then. Sooty down in 7th, Gary has to recover from P11 in this race already, and you feel that Andy's coming under a bit of pressure from Fury here. You don't feel that Andy's getting away and has the qualifying pace, has the race pace that he had in qualifying.
I tell you what, now me and Nicky have found this a couple of weeks in a row now, that the characteristics of the car changed so much from quali into the first race. We had it last night. Both of us had silly little mistakes and spins that we weren't expecting as Dan goes down the inside of BT and has got that job done, so he can go back after the leaders now. So they haven't got too far away from him, so he's got a good chance at this. So although BT right in his slip as they go up to turn 2. Yeah,
BT's going to be having a look here, isn't he, as they come up to 2, 3. 2's kind of non-existent.
Should we call it 2?
Yeah, we'll call it 2.
We'll call it 2, okay? For everyone, that is 2, where they've just been there. All right.
So Fury then dropped off the back of Andy. Dan now can pull away from BT Targa that little bit more. In the background, that is Little Leach and I think Sooty, who are side by side as well. But Fury at the minute, there's Little Leach. Will he be later on the brakes? Will he send one on the Sooty send it? No, he won't. But Sooty deep again at turn 3, and that allowed Little Leach to get right onto the back. Does he have a bit of a run as they come round 4 in towards 5?
Yeah.
No, he's managed to keep it behind. Oh, he's twitched himself. Oh, he's not held it neither. Oh, Peaceful as well's joined him.
Peaceful joining in.
Yeah, very slippery. That's where Gary had his spin as well. So Peaceful's lost it. It's now the Leachy Losers and the GQ Motorsport are the last 2 cars on the grid on the pack here. Fury trying to hunt down Andy, but Dan's coming.
Dan is coming, so look out. Disco is a couple of seconds ahead now, and he's got to make hay while the sun shines because. The other guys are getting a bit impatient behind Andy. And I say, I wonder if Andy's car's just changed a little bit and it's caught him out.
Yeah, I wonder if it has. I wonder if... Now, Andy got a good start compared to the rest. Did he jump the start? And if that's the case, did he allow for Disco to get in front of Dan early doors? Yeah, Sooty has a huge wiggle out to turn 1. He's lost the car. He's round. He's backwards. Tries to get it back on. Peaceful is down in last. Will Peaceful get past him? I don't think so, because Peaceful's only just crossed the start-finish line. So Sooty will come on in 11th place here, as he is BT Target trying to keep to the back of Dan, as Fury once again is close to the back of the BMW of Andy then. But yeah, did Andy jump the start, I wonder?
I don't know. I don't think he did. He would have got a penalty if he jumped the start.
It doesn't tell us. That's the problem. It doesn't tell us on our screen if he did jump the start or not. Well, I can tell you he didn't jump the start. I'm looking at his personal stream. He did not jump the start. He doesn't have a drive-through to his name. So Andy is still going in this race and maybe was just helping Disco get through, as Fury really on the back of Andy now. I looked it.
Yeah.
On the back now, though, Dan lost out on that second place and then lost a few places. Andy with another flash. A lot of flashing going off here.
Yeah, there is. There is a lot of flashing.
Wow!
At the back of Andy.
Yeah, and Fury flashing the lights. Not sure what that was. The pit window is open now. It has actually opened just on the last lap. So Andy is in the pits within the pit window here and doesn't have to pit again. But wow, that was a huge hit up the rear.
I'm just watching the stream. As I said, for those of you at home, we're a little bit delayed, so we get the opportunity to look at the stream kind of as you guys are, really. And I'm just trying to watch it now to try and see what happened, really. Because, Fury seemed to gain on Andy really, really quickly. Andy was...
Oh, what's that? Fury's had another incident. Not sure who that was. I'm not quite sure. BT Target was running third. He's now dropped down to P4, and Unorthodox and Biggs are now second and third. Not quite sure who that was with. Again, I'm just looking back to the stream to see who that one was with. I was trying to watch the Andy one with you there, and you're right. Fury just seemed to catch Andy out of nowhere. But up at turn 2, Fury's had another incident, this time with one of the Porsches. Dan now free into P2, D-Biggs into third. X-Mart and BT are running 4th and 5th, and Fury finds himself down in 6th place at the minute, and we'll have Little Each gaining on the back of him just as we come to turn 2 on the stream. Fury just under braking, not getting the Mercedes stopped, and well into the back of BT, and he sat there while BT got going.
I see. Yeah. So Fury having a torrid time, and see how things change really, really quickly. Yeah. Dan was in trouble a couple of laps back. Now he's in 2nd place and able to hunt Disco down as Fury's in the pit, as loads of them are in the pits actually. D-Big's in there, and loads of them getting their pit stops done early, and you might well find that Fury's got a bit of damage, something like that. Let's look, loads are going on in the pits. This would be
loads in. Who's that? D-Biggs, Fury, BT, Sooty.
No, I think it was Biggs missed his pit box.
No, sorry, I was just reading that to myself. Who was in the pits? Sooty's pit box. He's gone in thinking that it was an early one, and it's not. It's one of the late ones. I think you're right. I think it was D-Biggs who missed their pit box, and as here comes Peaceful way behind the pack. No, that's Andy who's made his pit stop. So Andy has jumped everybody else after his incident, got back well ahead of Fury, and comes out into P7. Then Peaceful. Did Peaceful pit at the end of lap 4? Guys in the stream, if Peaceful pitted, please. He's in the pits now, so maybe he's had another off somewhere.
Yes, indeed. And Dan's not catching on Disco at the moment. He's not. He's actually losing time. Disco's just pulling away from him just a little bit.
Disco looks like he's got some good race pace tonight, Kelly. He looks like he's flying. Yeah. And I think Dan will take a 2nd place here, knowing that one of the BMWs is kind of out of the picture. I think Dan will take a 2nd place.
Absolutely, I think he would. But hey, they're all racers. They all want to win, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Peaceful looks like he's got some heavy damage, and as he is still in the pits, there is. I think it's D-Biggs and BT having a bit of a battle in the midfield section on track. There's 2 dots very close together. Here they are. And it is these 2. The other 2 that are quite close together, as well as Gary and Monkey Boy further forward, but Gary looks like he's got the legs. BT trying to get the job done. There's Monkey Boy and Gary running up the order. Big damage. Didn't want to pit too early, says Peaceful. Well, he could have pitted at the end of lap 4, but he's pitted a bit later in the race. And BT trying to look on D-Biggs. D-Biggs quite fortunate to be in front of BT Target, you would say, after the incident with Fury that BT had. Can he regain that and get back ahead of the shake and bake Porsche here? But the Porsches, not the favoured car around this circuit, you have to say, as there's Peaceful on the inside, trying to just getting out the pit lane now. And will he move out the way? Let's hope he does. Well, they don't have to, but Peaceful seems one of the guys that just move.
Yeah, like Welshie last night, must be said. Very compliant, and that's what we like.
He's ran deep. Look, he's ran deep, and that's what you want to see. But I think Biggs just got held up a little bit into the braking zone, because it's allowed BT Target to have a heck of a run on him, and he's just having a look up the inside to turn 3. In that slipstream, he's getting closer and closer. Doesn't trust himself on the brakes to get the job done, as they both ran a little deep. Well, I think Biggs did as well, because he's not really lost anything.
It's a strange corner, that number 3. It's downhill, braking down hill and trying to turn the car at the same time. You'll find so many people going deep on that one. Oh, BT, go careful. That's my car you're wrecking there. BT a little bit deep, so that's left Biggs off the hook at the moment. This is probably the closest battle on track at the moment. 3 laps ago, they were all on top of each other. Now they've kind of all spread out a little bit. Yeah,
they have. I said. What did I say? Hey?
You did say that.
What did I say? But bearing in mind, though, the pit window is only open until the end of lap 14, so they'll have 6 racing laps at the end where pit stops will not take effect here. And at the minute, the track is spread out. Disco 7 seconds up the road from Dan. Dan 7 seconds up the road from Xmart. He's got about 7 seconds to Little Each, who's then got 2 seconds to Gary, who's got 2 seconds to Monkey Boy.
Yeah, now quietly going on is X-Smart, look, and he's found himself in a podium position here, and it'd be lovely to see this pan out and X-Smart put it on the podium. But that's really circumstances, that is, isn't it? You know, X-Smart was qualifying.
11th in qualifying for X-Smart.
11th in qualifying, and this is how things can pan out. Just kept his nose clean, stayed out of trouble, and there he is, 3rd place.
Yeah, indeed, and he's looking good value for his money at the moment, matching the pace of Dan on the last lap. PN Motorsport, is there any chance of it becoming moist tonight? Not a drop.
No.
There is not a drop. 0% chance of rain, said BBC Weather for tonight's race. Not a chance of a slight bit of drizzle at at any point of the evening. Monkey Boy trying to get on the back of Gary then. Has Gary made a mistake somewhere? Welshie, I'm not going to repeat the joke there. Kelly, I'll let you read that one in the chat. I don't read it aloud, obviously, but yeah, I like that. Have you read Welshie's comment?
I have read his comment. I'm feeling a bit thick because I haven't got it yet. But
PN asked if it was a chance of getting moist.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Into the pits comes Monkey Boy and Gary 131. And they're in at the same time, so that will release D Biggs, Andy, BT Targa, and Fury.
Oh, quick stop from Gary.
So yeah, very quick stop. He didn't jump Monkey Boy. Monkey Boy a good stop as well. Sutty gets the jump on these two as well. Well, shit, there's a race going on, and that's all you're thinking about. Terrible. Behave. Funny though. Disco, X-Mart, Unorthodox and Lidl Eats, the drivers who haven't pitted yet. And from what we reckon, 30 to 30, me and Dan said 20 to 25 seconds. I think it's more 25 to 30 seconds. You lose like in and out with a pit stop in between. So at the minute, Disco will come out ahead of his teammates, just. But again, when everybody.
Depends on pit stop lengths. This isn't Formula One, and it's not, all things being equal, a 3-second stop every time.
Dan's in.
It can be, if you get things right, it can be. I mean, I've had a less than a second one. I've had 0.7 of a second, or it could be 6-7 seconds, depending on how you do it. So it's it's just good. So this one is.
Yeah, you see the shake and bake boys. I reckon Dan had damage from the Gary incident earlier. I reckon that's what's took him a little longer as Little Each dives into the pits at the end of lap 9 as well. I think Dan had damage, and look who's going to jump him then after his incident with Fury. And he's had the pace and gets the jump on Unorthodox. Interesting thing is look at where BT and D Biggs are. Dan's off the limiter, but BT's up to speed. I think he's too far back. D Biggs and BT will stay behind Unorthodox. They're all getting the jump on Little Each here, and Dan well out the pits before they even get around turn 1. Look.
Yes, indeed. So it's going to be interesting to see where X-Mart ends up after all the pit stops. But as you say, Unorthodox back behind Andy now. I think, Andy's going to be, if he, without mistakes, Andy's a force to be reckoned with around this track.
Yeah, I think he is. I think, though, when X-Martin, I think he's got enough. In fact, you know what? It's going to be tight. If it is about 30 seconds. Well, what was Dan? Dan was 8 seconds behind Disco, so it's more like 28, 29 for what Dan's pit stop was. Disco's in the pits at the end of lap 10. So we imagine if X-Mart doesn't come in, that X-Mart will lead this race. Now, let's see this pit stop. You look at the track map, you see the second white dot on the map. The one coming into the pits is X-Mart, so he's pitting at the end of this lap. You see the second white dot just coming down towards the penultimate corner is Dan. Disco's away. Sorry, Andy, not Dan. Apologies. There is Andy then coming to the penultimate corner. There's X-Mart in the background. Here comes Andy. Penultimate corner into the final corner. This is going to be tight, I reckon, because Disco's still nowhere near that pit exit line yet.
Yeah, you say that.
Yeah, he's on it now.
That you can attack quite well on as he gives it.
Disco hit the wall. Yeah, you see the sparks fly.
Nudge. Yeah, but I was going to say you can attack that pit exit quite a lot.
Yeah,
but Disco stays in front. Andy second and Unorthodox third.
Yeah, 2 seconds. So that was the 30-second pit stop that we said for in and out with a pit stop in between. So Disco there doing a decent job as X-Mart feeds out. P4, in front of his teammate. What's happened to Biggs? Because he was running in front of BT. He's now down in 9th place. So Biggs has lost it somewhere and has dropped right down the order. He's now behind Sutty Apex, who's trying to get on the back of Fury. Fury's got no lights. Now, Fury needs lights on here. I don't know if he's got lights on your screen, but he's got nothing on mine.
Yeah, no, he's got none on mine. But it's not always the case. I mean, if he's had accident damage. Because trust me, if you've got no lights on.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that. As he then is following BT Target, Sutty's following Fury, and will Sutty look to send one? No, that front end of that Mercedes, though, has been in the walls tonight, and if he's clipped something again, it wouldn't surprise me if that's why he's got no lights. But Fury running with no lights at the minute, down in P6, after what was a good start for Fury. Kind of a...
Yeah.
Oh, Sutty looked a bit... very twitchy all over the curb. He's managed to hold it together. Nicely done, Sutty. Yeah. And he'll stay ahead of Little Leach, who's just a bit further in the background. Biggs has had another moment. He's down to P11 now. So what is going on with D. Biggs's Porsche? Where is it? Is he got damage? Can we just see Biggs's car? Does he have damage? Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, no front end, pretty much.
As he goes off again, that's a handful, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to be Biggs in the pits again, I imagine, here. That one looks a disaster at the minute. Yeah. Pit window coming to an end, but everybody has been into the pits then. You imagine Biggs will come back into the pits, and that could, in he comes, look. That could be a lengthy... He's not going to get better than 11th place there. And Peaceful's only coming up towards turn 2, so if he's a long stop, could Peaceful get round by the time D. Biggs gets out the pits and pick up some more points then, as Peaceful is just ahead of this BT Targa Fury, I think X-Mart fight as well. Yep, X-Mart as well. And Sutty Apex trying to get back on there. Sutty looks like he's got pace, but it looks like he's very loose and twitchy on the car. It looks like he's got the pace to gain on the guys, but then he sort of makes one or two mistakes that loses all that time.
Yes, exactly right. So, it's a fine balance, isn't it? Pace and consistency. It's a fine line.
That's the thing, isn't it? Do you trim the car with downforce and make it quicker on what is a pretty quick circuit? Do you go for that bit more downforce, make yourself a bit slower, but a bit more stable? You know, what do you sacrifice for which? Do you know what I mean?
It's a repeated conversation, especially in Pro-Am, isn't it? You know, that some of the guys there, and we won't go into too many details, but some of the guys have got really good pace, but can't seem to work on their consistency.
Now look who is still... Yeah, sorry, Kelly, sorry to butt in. Peaceful will get P11 as D. Biggs is only just making his way out the pits now, so Peaceful will get D. Biggs and will pull away by some margin, as Biggs has got a long way to go before he gets out the pit lane. That was one heck of a pit stop.
Yeah, that's his race over, isn't it, really? He's just going to trot around and get last place points, really.
He could qualify for the next race. I think that's his only silver lining, isn't it, really, to be able to get the qualification for the next race. 12 drivers started this race, which means the top 6 cannot qualify. Fury has lights on rear, most likely damage, says Kieran. Well, if that's the case, he does need to get in as per the rules and regs for a pit stop to fix his lights. He's definitely got none on our end, but if he's got the evidence to prove that he had lights on his end, because I know sometimes the game can glitch out. Now look, in front of Fury, the two Prolapse cars just gaining on each other a little bit and pulling away from this battle. BT has got ahead of X-Mart, so they've had a switcheroo.
Yeah.
And BT has got himself ahead of X-Mart then, as I think Peaceful's had a mistake somewhere, and D. Biggs is now on the back of him here. D. Biggs well within a couple of seconds. The front 3 have definitely gone. So we've got a Team Prolapse battle. We've got Fury battling Sutty. And we've got D. Biggs with a Little Leach in between them, trying to attack the back of Peaceful Explosion.
Yeah, Sutty's getting very interested in the back of Fury now.
Yeah, I think Fury's coming in. Fury's coming in. Now, that seems like a sensible option to me. If he's got damage and he's struggling, he seems to want to get in. So in he comes. There's Peaceful, there's Little Leach, there's D. Biggs. So Peaceful and D. Biggs just behind is for position. Now, the front 3, Dan lost a second to Disco on the last lap. Andy lost half a second. So them 3 are kind of spread out. It's had a good battle for 4th and 5th between the 2 teammates. Gary's kind of hunting down Monkey Boy here, but you feel that Renault's going to lose out to the Merc down this back straight. Fury's in the pit lane. He's got his lights on. He's away. So Fury's got 10th place. But again, it's another race that's ruined with damage.
Yeah, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, isn't it?
Gary here, we said he had a good qualifying, Kelly. He's not had the best of races. And once again, are we seeing Gary struggling in a Renault? Has he? We said a minute ago about trimming the downforce. Oh! I think Monkey Boy had lost the rear there and Gary's helped him on his way.
Yeah, could be.
But I'm just watching back here because I've got it on my PC. Yeah, Monkey Boy lost the rear. And Gary kind of had nowhere to go there. You'll see it a bit delayed on the stream. I get to actually see it on the software I'm using on the PC before it comes up through the stream. So, yeah, you'll see that in just a moment. But, Gary, yeah, we say the lack of downforce, Kelly. Do you sacrifice that for race pace? We saw Gary last week at Donington really struggle, span more times than Kylie Minogue. And again, sorry. I thought I'd get it in there. Gary's lost the car a lot of times here tonight. Is Gary just taking too much off the Renault
to try and make it quick?
Yeah,
maybe. We continue the discussion about the Renault, don't we? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the hands of me and Nicky on Pro-Am night, we're consistent with it, but we're not trimming it down to try and catch Andy, Unorthodox, Disco, any of them really, Fury. Yeah. We're not trimming it down to try and catch these guys because we're not doing, that type of lap time. So, I think Gary and Little Leach will hang this Renault up at the end of the end of the season and either go back to a Porsche or try something else. But the Renault is a great car. It is a great car, but it's not a pro car. It's just not got the pace.
No, and we said this, didn't we, last year about the Ginetta and the Acura. It's not a pro car. Yeah. It could possibly win or fight at the front in Pro-Am, but it's not right for pro. Fury in the chat saying he had his lights on his end. Well, if that was the case, mate, you shouldn't have pitted and just, got a picture of your end and made sure that if the stewards asked, you just sent them that, because if that was the case, you was fine to carry on. I know the game at time glitches out, and that's a problem. But if you do feel like if your lights are on, make sure you just save it, send it into the stewards if they ask for it, and away you go then. Here is Little Leach with, who's that looks like they've got a crumbled up front end? That's D-Big's past Peaceful. That Porsche looks awful when it's got damage, doesn't it?
Look at it. Twisted, doesn't it?
Yeah. I wonder if he's had another mistake. Biggs looks like he's struggling here.
Yeah, maybe, because he came in for damage, didn't he? And it seems to be, again, we could, the damage can be repaired on the car, and we still see it as damage on the game. But I'm sure his damage was repaired, and he seems to be struggling here, doesn't he? And it's such a shame because he's such a better driver than the season has been. For him, really, and Peaceful in the background there, running plumb last at the moment as well. What an absolute shame, but hey, could well be a Pro-Am champion next year.
Yeah, we'd have to wait and see. PN Motorsport, yes, it is Streamlabs. What a piece of kit that is. As Disco leads this race by 3 seconds from Andy. Andy, 5 seconds up the road. Biggs has gone very deep. Round he goes. Just catches Peaceful. And I think Biggs didn't qualify well. He got 9th in practice. I think Biggs is struggling here. Really struggling.
Yeah, I think he is as well. So that's a shame.
And all this as well tonight, Kelly, doesn't help the team against the BMWs, because the BMWs sit 1-2. Dan's got nothing in terms of these two BMWs tonight. He's got nothing to answer back that will claw these BMWs in. 2 tenths slower than Disco, a tenth slower than Andy on the last lap. 8 seconds off the back of the lead, 6 seconds off the back of Disco. Dan's got no answer to these BMWs, and while Biggs is down in 12th place, the team points does not look pretty.
No, you're quite right. It doesn't, but they can't have it all their own way every round. So they're going to have to work for it. I said that team. I said that this team Slingshot would be the force to be reckoned with this year, and they certainly are proving it. So they're giving Shake and Bake a run for their money, and that's exactly what we want.
And the two drivers, Andy especially, giving Dan a good run for his money in the Drivers' Championship as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure that all the drivers involved would want it exactly that way.
Yeah, indeed.
So bring it on. You're right. Dan hasn't got an answer tonight. But hey, this is one round of many, isn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose in a way many fans will be sitting there who's watching going, well, I'm glad Dan doesn't have an answer, to be fair, because Dan's always at the front, and rightly so. He's a quick guy. He puts the time and effort in. He's got a quick car. Yeah. But I bet people are people are more excited to see these two at the front for a change, to make that title challenge a bit exciting as we go deeper into the season.
It's exactly what we want. Otherwise, it ends up being Schumacher, Vettel, Hamilton, in all their eras when they've had, race win after race win after race win after race win. It's not what we want. We want dogfights, and we want championship battles, and exactly what we're getting. So basically, what I'm saying is, forget watching any other kind of motorsport. Just stick to SimPlay, really.
Yeah, stick to SimPlay. Sooty Apex, I'd like to just drop back to him if we could, because he is on a charge to try and catch Exmart on these last couple of laps. 3 laps to go, 18, 19 and 20. And he's on a charge since he's got past, after his little error that he made, he's on a charge to gain on Exmart. Was a bit quicker last lap. He was a bit slower last lap. Was a bit quicker the lap before. But he's trying to hunt down that 2.2 second gap. The master of the Sooty Send It. Can he get close to Exmart and maybe make a move? He can't qualify for the next race because he's already 6th. But he's looking at them points for himself, Kelly. And a guy that seems to be getting back in form in that Lamborghini. We said, this is the thing I think with this team, and I've kind of got this one down to a point. And I spoke with Sooty about this in the week. Phil struggles in the Lamborghini, but looked good in the Acura. Got a few 4th, got a few 5th places. Looked good in a car that shouldn't have been that high up. Sooty looks better in the Lamborghini, but struggled at times in the Acura. Do they need to find a car that's stable enough that it helps Phil, but is loose enough that it helps Sooty?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Sooty and Phil seem to have work commitments that kind of hamper both their seasons. Yeah. Normally, do you know what I mean? But they're both very capable drivers, and if they could find a car balance that suited both of them, and if they could give the commitment, then I think they'd be a force to be reckoned with. To be fair,
100%.
But then I was just thinking to myself, do you know what I mean? Should Sooty be up higher than this in 6th place and whatever? But look at the calibre of drivers in this pro field.
You look at the calibre of drivers, and I also go back to season 1 and 2 where we was in lockdowns and Sooty was on a lot more of the time to get the practice in. Has he just lost touch a little bit because of the fact that he's working more now and the practice is harder to come by?
Yeah, maybe so, and at the sharp end you've got to be practicing, and you've got to, as I said, the calibre of the field is very, very good. Do you know what I mean? And the guys at the back, are more than capable of winning races. It is. There's 12 positions, only one person can come first. But as I said, there is such good drivers in here that I know for myself, I'm certainly not ready to be in this category.
Now, Dan has made a mistake somewhere. Last lap of a 1:37 would, to me, argue that he's had a bit of a spin as Disco starts his final lap, as does Andy. Dan's coming on. Now, there doesn't look to be any damage on that car of Dan. But, he's made a mistake somewhere then and has had an off at some point on the last lap. We'll keep an eye on the time between Exmart and Sooty, but that one doesn't look like it's going to change. But this man tonight, since he got past Dan and Andy, what a drive.
Yeah, hasn't looked back really. He got past those two. Lap 1, was it? Lap 1, lap 2?
Yeah, lap 1, yeah.
Yeah, lap 1, and you're right. He hasn't really looked back. But it's got to be said, what a recovery drive from Andy.
Oh, yeah, mega drive from Andy tonight. Mega drive.
Yeah, and I think this will be the first slingshot 1-2, will it?
Yes, I believe it will be. They've had when Disco's been on they've had a 1-3. It seems to be the case that when Andy's on the podium, Disco isn't. When Disco's on the podium, Andy isn't. But they've had a 1-3 race 1 at Dubai, which was gifted to them by Dan and Jamie having that little incident, if you remember.
Yeah, it looks to me like Disco's slowing down a little bit. It's going to be a bit of a photo finish.
Yeah, I think you're right here. He's let Andy get onto the back of him as Andy just warming the tyres up, making it look fancy for the end of the stream here. As Disco then rounds the penultimate corner. He's going to round the final corner as well. It looks like it's going to be a slingshot 1-2. What a night for these two boys. What a night for the BMW M6. Continues its strong form here at the Red Bull Ring and in unison across the line. Great win for them too. Unorthodox then way behind. He made a mistake, but he was about 6 seconds off the back of Disco anyway. He's going to cross the line for a P3, a hard P3 after an earlier off with Gary 131. The Prolapse boys. Solid result for Dan. The Prolapse boys, 4th and 5th. Sooty's fell off the back of Exmart at the end of this one, so good points for the Prolapse cars across the line. Sooty Apex then. Is he going to hang on for 6th place? It looks like he will as he's got round the final corner. That is Peaceful, I believe, with him, who's a lap down. So Sutty comes across P6. Peaceful finishes 11th. Lidleach, P7, and again, outscoring his brother tonight, who comes home P8. And Lidleach starting to outscore Gary a little bit in the odd race. Gary then will be P8. It's going to be Monkey Boy, who will be P9. In what Monkey Boy needs it, he needs some good results soon. It's a P9 is a P7 is his best result of the season. Fury will come home P10, and that will end your field. D Biggs was 12th. We wait for the fastest lap, a 29.7 by Andy. So pole, second place, and a fastest lap. That will take some beating, but it's Disco Andy Unorthodox, BT, Xmart, Sutty, Lidleach, Gary, Monkey Boy, Fury, Peaceful, D Biggs, and the bottom three will want to redo their race if they can in race 2. The top 6 cannot qualify for race 2. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with driver interviews and qualifying 2, so don't go anywhere. Dan's just said that's clearly Disco on double points.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was Andy, but there you go.
No, Andy took his last week.
Oh, yeah, of course he did. Yeah.
Andy took his last week. So I reckon that's why Andy let Disco through then.
Yeah. Could well be. Yeah.
Double bubble, Andy can challenge. You see, that for me, I think Andy ought to be trying to win the races.
Yeah, for the championship. But then it's still early days, and it's it can't be decided.
But the way I look at it now, Kelly, is if Andy can score good points now before Dan takes his double and stretches gap from Dan, it makes Dan's double points harder. You know what I mean? Needs a good result in his double point. That's my thinking behind it. Because the gap's now 32. You add an extra 5 onto that, it's 37 if Andy had won the race. That's before race 2 tonight, where the BMWs look the best car. So,
to be fair, I would have done exactly the same. I would.
Oh no, yeah,
at this
probably
point
would
in the season. At this point in the season, I mean, me and Nicky are like this point in the season. Whoever's quicker, goes on. But if Nicky was on double points, I would have let him through. Do you know what I mean? And then protected him.
The thing I say to you is, you and Nicky have got 16 points between you.
Yeah.
Disco and Andy, there's an 82-point gap.
Sure, yeah.
But it does
maximise the team points, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it does with the double bubble. I mean, he'd have still scored, 40 for race 1, Disco, if he'd have got second. So it's still good points, but yeah, no, I see your point.
But it's 50.
Yeah, no, it's 10 it's 10 points more going into for the constructors, which is now 68 points. But Dan and D Biggs do still have to take their double points. They've not taken theirs yet, so. I just think at what stage of the season do you look to get the maximum points for that driver? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying with it's just before halfway, but at the same time, I think that if Andy had won that race 37 points ahead of Dan, and then if they have another good race and say Andy wins race 2 and pulls even more points over Dan then kind of needs a 52 double score going into that back week, do you know, into when he takes his. But either way, let's hush for now.
Yeah.
After Dan violently took Gary out, and it's been noted in my notebook. Terrible.
Actually, he dropped it before I touched him.
I knew you'd bite. Get me fishing rod out. Fucking hell. Well done, lads.
Yeah.
And coming into the penultimate corner to tell him I was coming to the pits, that was kind of like meant to be a little hint, but I don't think he bought it, and he just ploughed into me as I was braking.
Right, I'm just going to pop for a quick wee before we go.
Right, so you were on your way into the pits, Andy?
Yeah, I was taking it easy because I wanted to make sure that I got it. I went on the right side of that little bollard.
Yeah.
The entry, so I was braking as I was coming out of that last corner in a place where you wouldn't normally brake, but I did flash Fury before I got to the corner. I did flash him, just hoping that he might understand what was going on, but I don't think he did.
No, because he did plough straight in the back of you.
Yeah, he just floored it, so yeah. I've got no damage though, so lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Largely uneventful race for me.
Yeah, well, we didn't bother going on you in the stream because you'd gone.
It's just
you'd done a little dance and you'd made a little bit of love.
There was no loving between me and Dan. That was completely legit. No, he left the door open into turn 4, and I was okay. No, I'm going to take it. Or turn 3, turn 4.
Yeah, I said on stream I thought it was aggressive but fair.
Yeah, I said the door was there. And that was it. The rest of it was just 130, 130, 130, 130, 130, 130. Just keep going.
Yeah, I didn't really have to pace at the first part of the race, but after the pit stops, it kind of just suddenly remembered how to drive this track again.
Does it? Do you find that the characteristics of the car change slightly from quality to the race?
Heavy fuel loads, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, definitely the heavy fuel loads. I think that's what it was.
And a bit cooler as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely, because it's getting further into the night. The feature's going to be even worse, though, isn't it? 2 a.m.
Yep.
It's
I think it's better for the tyres. I think mine were starting to just get on the verge of overheating towards the end.
Everyone running softs, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, it's way too cold. I wouldn't even be able to get the hards into anywhere near optimal temperature.
What's the Beamer like on its hards?
It's good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Kelly. I think it's right in the range where you could just about run the hards, and it wouldn't be fantastic, but you would be.
But you'd get away with it, like.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't have to worry about say it'd be the give and take. The hards get that bit, or the softs get that bit too hot towards the end. It's a bit loose, and the hards are just that little bit too cold. So also a bit loose. It's not the trade-off's not very much, I don't think.
Right. I haven't even driven the Beamer, so I don't know what it's like. So.
Come on for next season, Kelly.
I tried the Merc last night. Actually, I took the Merc round Red Bull Ring, did about 6 laps in it, and wasn't a million miles away from my time in the Renault. Considering I didn't do any real setup. I just kind of jumped in and drove it for a little bit, So yeah, I mean the Renault's. The Renault is very planted, but it's not going forward. If you know what I mean, it's
strange. It's a car I've always found actually not bad pacing, like really good pace. I say even at even at Indy last week, I was on the pace I was on in the BMW the whole time. Like it was, if anything, the Renault was a lot more planted than the BMW at Indy.
Yeah, I mean, the Renault is fantastic at handling, and it suits my driving style. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I just always feel like you need a bit more, and yeah, we'll see. Let's lose this championship first before we worry about the next one.
Oh, yeah, you're not.
What's Maze on about? I have no problem with teammates swapping places, but not in a corner entry. What? I was hesitant into the corner, so I said to this guy, go on my outside, because I was having to slam the brakes to avoid losing it.
I don't think it really matters where you do or how you do it, to be honest.
I had heavy fuel and cold tyres, and I just had to let him through, because otherwise I was going to fuck it, and I was going to lose the car, so I had to put the brakes on. I just said to him, go on my outside.
Just to say, when it gets onto the screen of the pits, because that's when it goes back live, basically.
I'm not even on that screen.
No, not quite there yet.
That.
Just told him the truth. That's it, I'm done on the method. Yeah, he can talk. Seriously, he can talk.
Just we'll go back live. And welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport, and we are back for the second race of the evening, second qualifying. We've got the top three in with us for interviews now, and it's Disco McDiscoface, who's on double points tonight and capitalising early doors in this first one. What a way to go about it there then, and that increases their championship lead in the constructors to 68 points between them and Shake and Bake with a good one too. Andy also pulls away in the Drivers' Championship with Disco up into third now, but still some way off of Andy and Dan at the moment. Gary stayed P5. D Biggs kind of lost out to everybody else. So Sutty and X-Mart 7th, tied on 67. BT Targers 9th on 66. Little Each just had a peaceful 57 against 55. Monkey Boy now climbs ahead of Phil. And the bottom three haven't changed just yet. But we've got the top three in, and we'll start with third place, Dan. Dan, third place for yourself in a race that you couldn't really just keep with the BMWs, could you?
No, not really. The BMWs had more pace, and I knew they were going to have more pace here at Austria. I just had to try and give them a headache. I'm impressed by my quali, the first time I've ever done a 28, so splitting them was something to take in, but no, fair play to them. They had more pace, I had nothing to really give them. I knew Disco was on double points as soon as lap 1 ended, because they did a nice little switcheroo, yeah. I put a little review in about that because I think it was a bit sketchy where they did it, but it's all fair. It's all clean racing, but a little bit sketchy on where they decided to do it. That's all.
Like you say, you had good pace in the qualifying session. It gave you the chance to split the BMWs. Was that the only kind of strategy going into the race? If I can stay in between them, that helps massively, or?
I was really relying on the Porsche start, really, but I was on the dirty side of the grid, couldn't get a good launch, and I was just wanting to try and hold them up as long as I can. But that never happened. I held Disco out for as wide as I could. I held him for as long as I could. Made one little error into turn 3. He had a sniff off of an opportunity, and then they both got through. I then, obviously having to avoid it, incident, went wide, and then got caught up in all sorts of problems with Gary, who was dropping it in turn 4. Got front end damage, and that was it. I could not touch him at that point. That was literally 8-second gap was nothing I could catch. You
made a mistake at the end of the race as well. Anything too major, or just a driver error?
Just a silly little error, really. Just trying to push with damage, but again, there was no point. I was trying to get past this lap to try and take something away, but it never came, so it was just me pushing too hard.
What can you do race 2?
Stay out of trouble, try and pick up people here and there, try not to get damaged, and hope and pray that the Beamer boys have issues as well.
Best of luck, mate.
Good luck,
very much.
We got Andy in as well, and Andy qualified on pole position with an absolute fantastic lap, and not a bad race. You had an incident with Fury, but you came back through the field brilliantly.
Yeah, the incident with Fury was a bit frustrating, but I was coming into the pits, coming out of the penultimate corner. I flashed him coming into that corner to kind of like hint that I was coming in. I'd hope he'd kind of play ball, but he didn't. So. Yeah, he went into the back of me, but it wasn't too bad. I didn't have damage. It was just a little tap, unsettled the car. My car was sort of going backwards, but it was going in the right direction, so I just had to like tilt the wheel a little bit, move it around, so it just did a nice little pivot into place. So all in all, I probably lost maybe 2 or 3 seconds at most. It was a very, very minor incident. Came into the pits as usual, did the pit stop cheat, came out, and from there just got the laps down and jumped down.
Yeah, jumped down and nearly a couple more laps, I reckon. You may have had your teammate, because you've had great pace in the race as well. And what a job for the M6. The track seems to really suit this. We go back to season 1 where Mazda AH and Keegs look dominant in the M6. You and Disco tonight, again, look to be carrying that on, where the M6 really goes well around here.
The BMW really does go well around here. I don't know what it is. Honestly, I can't put my finger on it, because with the characteristics of the car, it doesn't make a whole load of sense, I'll be honest. But it does go very well, and I'm glad it does. With Disco tonight, he just had a little more pace than me. This is a track that he likes a lot, and I'm sure about, I don't know if it's been announced already, but
yeah, it was. Yeah,
there's been a little thing announced, obviously, and you know, it was all about him tonight. He's quicker than me around this track, and quality was, I don't know, just a freak lap really. But yeah, he's the best man out here, and it's him for the win in the feature race for sure. Race 2.
Best of luck, buddy, for that second race.
Good luck.
Cheers.
We've got Disco in as well, and Disco, that is a great little win for yourself. You capitalised on a great move from Dan up the inside. You got past your teammate as well, relatively unscathed as you'd imagine, and then just got your head down from there, really.
Yeah, quite as good a start as I could have hoped. I think Dan got a slightly better jump off the line on me, so just kind of had to ride it on the outside of him in turn 1 and just hope I could get him in the straight. Again, defended well, and then opened the door into turn 3 and never really looked back. Bit of an improv overtake with Andy. It wasn't planned, it just kind of happened there, and that's why it maybe looked a little bit messier than it probably could have. But again, there was no issue with it, all good. No harm, no foul sort of thing, so.
You've got the pace around here, and you really need this one after last week's Donington Park. I'm not going to say poor on your behalf, but poor week in general for yourself. You really need the points here, don't you? And that's something that you've got in abundance at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was even looking forward to this because I think even before the season started, I knew Donington, for me, wasn't going to be a great one. I just kind of, there was a feeling in the wind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been looking forward to this one all week just to put things back in sort of stead and try and close the gap back up to the guys up front. Yeah, looking forward to the feature and see what happens.
Well, we'll let you and Andy get back to it and get yourselves ready, and best of luck for the second race, mate.
Yeah, great, and well done to Andy and Dan for the results.
Cheers, buddy. We'll catch you later. So, Kelly, 3 drivers happy with their podium performances at the minute. We've currently got the Renault that looks like it could be on pole position at the moment, as Fury's just improved to P2. Andy, Dan, and sort 10th and 11th, but Disco starts P8 in this next race, so he really gets the best start out of everybody, out of the front 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a funny old thing, the how it works out, who goes where, isn't it? You know, and Andy and Dan might be in good shape back there, to be fair. I think Dan said exactly the same about me and Arjun, and last night, being at the back, you stay kind of out of the way of the trouble and then get the opportunity to pick people off at your leisure, really. So, it's not the end of the world being at the back.
No, it's not. Gary's gone back to the pits, so will he come out for one last flying lap, or does he feel like he's done? I think he is actually on his way out the pit lane then, as there is a driver just crossing the line, so we'll keep our eyes on the time screen for any movement. No movement, so nobody improved on that last lap. Peaceful is currently out qualifying D Biggs, who's out qualifying Monkey Boy. The top 5 separated by just over a second here. Fury went purple sector 1 though, and he's green in the middle sector, so improving as he goes here this lap is Fury. We'll stay with him for the rest of this one at the moment, and Fury looks like he's coming towards the end of this lap in good spirits. Oh, that's track limits there.
That's track limits, that is.
To
be fair, there's been a bit of it this evening.
Yeah, there has been a bit of it, and as Fury comes across the line, I imagine this could be pole. No. Only gained a 10th.
Yeah, did he back out of it after that?
I wonder if he just lifted off a bit more into the corner, or braked a bit longer into the corner.
I would like to hope so.
In that case, did he give back too much time? Kieran Argent saying that, Kelly, being at the back, you saved me from a flying Dean. Says Kieran.
I didn't save myself from that one, but yes, I kind of, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, you are. I gave him so many gifts last night. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, so
Kieran
many
must have
presents.
thought it was Christmas. I gave him so many gifts.
Hey, we'll soon be there.
That you will be. Yeah, that was one of them. And me purposely having a 10-second penalty in the pits. I did that especially for Kieran,
just
so
for
he
Kieran.
could be third.
Yeah,
because I'm that kind of guy, really.
You didn't
always
give him. Yeah. Thinking of others, you're so caring. You are, Kelly.
I am so caring.
Gary,
I don't think it's going to last all season, but there you go.
Gary then still the man on pole. Fury not improving at the minute. His lap. D Biggs is quicker in the middle sector as there. Gary crosses the line, but no improvement. D Biggs is on a green middle sector. Peaceful's just gone green in sector 1. So see D Biggs cross the line. And we speak about the night race and the track getting cooler. We say normally on a day race that the track rubber's in, it gets that bit warmer, it gets that bit quicker for the cars. It's not doing around here as D-Biggs doesn't improve at all there. Monkey Boy and Peaceful, green in sector 1 for them two. Peaceful's coming up towards sector 2, I think. Are they slipstreaming in each other? Is that the 2 cars up the top of the map? No, because Peaceful's in the pits.
No, Peaceful's in the pits. So Do you know what? I'm a little bit.
Whoa! Oh. Hello.
Craig, that was another one, isn't it? Off into the mountains with the Von Traps. He is, a little bit. I'm quite surprised at D-Biggs, I expected him to put that in the 29s.
Yeah, 100%.
Is he not? Does D-Biggs not enjoy this track, or is he struggling with this track, or what? I really kind of expected him to be first or second, really.
Yeah, no, as did I. I really, especially this qualifying too. I thought he'd be there with Fury at least, and he's not. He's at some half a second off the back of Fury. D-Big's still on a lap, I think. No, he's gone to the pit, so we'll start P5. Peaceful then will start P4. So it's just Fury and Gary, I think, still out there on a lap because Little Leach is done for third. So who's that just crossed the line? Was that Gary or Fury? It must have been Gary. He didn't improve. Fury needs half a second to get pole position, or will Gary take pole number 2 this year? A point on offer for pole as well, so the point can go a long way at the end of the season.
Championships have been won and lost on a point.
Yeah. I think Gary needs more than a point to win this championship this year, but I know what you're saying.
You get the point. You get the point.
I get the point. Yeah. Fury improves at the end, but only finishes 2/10 off the back of Gary. So Gary will start on pole position with Fury starting second, and that is your qualifying there. Then at the end of this one, it will be Gary from Fury, Little Leach from Peaceful Explosion, and then it will be. Excuse me. Sorry. 1 second. It will then be D-Biggs, Monkey Boy. And then X-Mart, the first of the non-qualifiers. Disco, Sooty, Unorthodox, Andy, and BT Targa will start at the back of the pack. And who's your money on for this second race, Kelly?
Who's my money on?
This could be an interesting one.
I'd love to see Gary continue this pace and do the Renault justice in pro around this track. So I'd like to say Gary. I think Fury's got a good shot at it. Where's Disco, Andy? See, Andy, Disco, Unorthodox, all in with a good shout, even though they are towards the back a little bit. So if I had to pick somebody, Gary.
I'm going to go Fury. We'll split the difference.
Yeah, well, I nearly went for Fury, so that's a good shout. That's a good shout, I think.
This one is going to be interesting, that is for sure. To the end, get your vote for who you think is going to win this race in the comment section. This is going to be cracking, Kelly. I have a feeling that BMWs could be on a charge through the pack.
Yes, indeed. Kieran, in reply to my comment on the comments there, all right, I gave Prolapse a gift at Donny by spinning every other lap. Yes, that's true. That's true. Kieran, you did give us no pressure whatsoever.
Was that a gift?
A gift? Well, I thought it was a gift.
Well, hang on. This is more to Kieran. Was that a gift? Or was that just you're struggling at Donington? I feel it was more you struggling than giving Prolapse a gift. I feel it was a combination of Prolapse being dominant and yourself struggling. But never mind that. We're syncing up.
Yeah.
We're syncing up.
That want to run and run?
Yeah, we are getting ready to go. 1 red light, not me, says Gary in the chat. 3 red lights. It's green, it's go. Gary gets a decent start. Fury seems to take a while to get off the line there then. And Gary then gets away beautifully. Peaceful already having a look up the inside of Fury into turn 1. And will he get that one done? No, they touch. They touch. Is there anybody round? I feel Peaceful is. Somebody's well off in the background. It's BMW. Andy then who has gone well off. Peaceful down into 11th. Did he catch Dan? Because Dan is off this pack as well at the moment.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, he's got a few scrapes on the side. I reckon Dan got caught up in that then. See, Gary leads from Fury, D-Biggs, X-Mart, Disco, Monkey Boy, Sooty. That's Disco. Looked like he had a bit of a slide on there, but managed to hold it together. Gary and Fury away from this pack. Then D-Biggs up to third and Peaceful. After one corner, he's already down in last. Dan already well off the pack, and he'll be annoyed at that, and he'll be struggling already.
Yeah, he won't be overly happy about that as Disco's come up into 4th, made up 4 places already, and is now on the back of D-Biggs. Oh, as Monkey
Boy.
Gets very close with Little Leach there as they rub doors and whatever. Andy on the back of this pack and Dan behind that again. So these guys with a lot of work to do.
Yeah. And, Andy's had a huge twitch coming through turn 5. Round he goes then. He's now fell to 12th place and behind his championship rival in this one. And as Dan got a bad start at turn 1, Andy's middle sector hasn't gone according to plan, but it's Gary from Fury Biggs, and Biggs is going to see the bright yellow slingshot BMW M6 all over the back of him in a minute because Disco is flying on this opening lap, Kelly.
Yeah. Absolutely, he certainly has got a little something around this Red Bull ring, and he is absolutely flying, so don't count him out for winning this one. But it's still Gary out front at the moment, and I'm willing you on, Gary. You may say not me, but you've got the class. You just need to get that car home.
Needs to deliver.
Absolutely.
Look at this.
Look at Disco.
Look at the speed of Disco. With Disco facing that BMW, does he have a look into turn 2? He's going to have a peak, and got so close to the back of D-Big's car there. But look at the exit speed. It's this BMW, and like Andy said, the characteristics of this car doesn't look like it should do anything around this track. But it does, and it's doing it brilliantly. Further back, Dan looking to get on the back of Monkey Boy. Sooty just in front of these is having a look at BT Targa. Will he send one into turn 3? No, look at the Lamborghini twitching under the brakes and just tries to keep it tighter than BT, but he can't do it. Disco still being frustrated by D-Biggs and has a look up the inside now. And I tell you what, Rubbin is racing, and Disco got right up the inside. And I mean, personally, I see nothing wrong with that.
No, well, it was right on the limit, wasn't it? But
on the limit, but you know, that's hard racing for me. That's hard but fair racing. If you're gonna, you know, if stewards want to penalise that, I think we need to get a grip.
If that was penalisable, if that's a word, then we'd all give it up, wouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. So, what would be the point? I thought that was brilliant from Biggs, but from Disco, but great to Biggs to get back through. Look at Sooty. He's trying to get past BT Targa, and BT defending for his life. These have got unorthodox coming. Will Sooty look to send one at turn 1? Oh, Biggs has a snap at turn 1, and round he goes. Now, did Disco touch him? Because Disco slowing down to let Biggs through here.
Yeah.
Now,
he's going to, isn't he?
That's unorthodox. That's got past. I think he's waiting for Biggs. Yes. Now then, huge implications on the evening there. He's had a bit of an apologetic flash there from Disco to say sorry to Biggs. But what that has done is caused a huge 6-second gap between Fury and Gary all the way back to X-Mart and BT Targa.
Yes, indeed. And got to take your hats off. That was probably the fairest thing to do, but that was very devastating for both of their races.
Yeah, hugely. Disco, especially on double points. Sooty now has a quick unorthodox on the back of him, and Sooty's the kind of racer that isn't bothered about the championship, or is he? Because Dan got past him relatively easy there in a flash from Sooty to Dan. I thought Sooty defended that a bit hard. I was just about to say that Sooty will not give a damn about the championship. He'll fight as hard as he has to fight in every single race, but Dan got through relatively easy there.
Yeah, he made it reasonably easy. I don't know, maybe Sooty's just not going to, maybe he's picking his fights, I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely, you don't have to fight everybody on track, even if you want to, you don't have to, so, yeah.
Now then, is Sooty looking to go with Dan and clear the prolapse, boys? And as here comes X-Mart to defend from Dan. Not X-Mart, BT Targa, and Dan has the run on BT Targa up towards turn 1 they come. And Dan has that one done. And BT, he's ran a bit wide on the exit, but so did BT Targa. Yeah. And that'll allow Sooty a chance on the back of BT.
To be fair, written on my notepad is track limits turn 1 for a lot of these guys,
Yeah, I think that's the big talking point. Dan defending from BT Targa. BT having to go the long way. Will he get a cutback? Will Sooty have looked up the inside? No, I don't think Sooty got the chance to look up the inside. No, he didn't. PN saying that was BTCC style. I presume that's about the Disco D-Biggs manoeuvre. And D-Biggs has dropped back to P10, so has lost out somewhere else in this one. As Disco and Andy are 7th and 8th and need to get the hurry up if they're to catch this man and pull away. Furthermore, in this championship battle, Andy made his own mistake. Disco got caught up with D-Biggs and lost a lot of time in that one. But at the minute, Gary stretched his lead to a second, and X-Mart and Dan are 7 seconds back. Gary doing a cracking job. Pit window has opened as well, and is open as from the start of this lap, so they can pit any time from now up until the end of lap 14.
Yep, sorry there, I was just taking a drink.
You're alright, I was just having a drink myself.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Just a coffee.
Just a coffee?
Yeah, just a coffee.
Yeah.
Keeping it casual. Who's that in? That's Dan. Early pit stop.
That's
Dan. Very early, that one.
Yeah, indeed. Let's go. And he's coming behind X-Mart.
Yeah. So now, D-Biggs cannot pit.
Are these boys going for the glitch? Is it going to be a quick one? Daniel needs a quick one, really. It's okay. But he does jump X-Mart.
He has jumped X-Mark. It was nothing special from both of them. X-Mark giving Dan a flash, Dan giving one back. Little Leech and Monkey Boy have pitted at the end of lap 4 as well. But yeah, nothing special there. Go on, Gary Boy. Been a while since you've been in this position, says Smithy in the chat. Yep. Damn right it has. But that promotes BT, Sooty, Disco, Andy Peaceful, D Biggs up to a couple of places as they all get past X Martin. Look at Disco now on the back of Sooty Apex, and these two had a fight back at Indianapolis it was, and to Sooty looks like Disco's got a run on him. Sooty's going to make it harder for Disco, look.
Yes, he isn't not so quite so compliant with Dan as he was with Dan, is he?
No, fighting that one, defending Disco, and Disco looks like he's got a bit of an undercut on Sooty there. Sooty on the brakes, and bit of a tap up the rear from Disco, and maybe another one on a flash here from Disco to Sooty. And you know something? I did feel like Sooty moved a bit late under the brake in there. I don't know about yourself, Kelly, but yeah, a bit cheeky, I think, from Sooty.
Yeah.
No, again, nothing. You know, he's not caused Disco to spin or lose places, but just a bit cheeky.
Yeah. There's a bit of cheeky driving tonight, isn't there?
There is. Andy's came into the pits then.
Yeah, Andy in the pits for his pit stop, and as Disco is going to take a look up the inside, he's going to get this one done this time. Oh, he's ran the track limits, ran a lot wide there, and Sooty's going to try and come back at him. Disco covers that one off then as D-Biggs manages to get past Andy. Andy's now on his way out the pit, so you can see the little white dot moving, and Dan's coming, but we'll stay with this fight at the moment. Sooty going to go to the outside and look the long way round. Disco hard on the brakes, keeps it up the inside. Can Sooty get a cutback? No, but Sooty will still be fighting this one hard. Down towards turn 3. Dan gets in front of Andy, but Andy crucially gets a jump on X-Mark. Can he stay in front now? X-Mark's got him done. Then we'll jump to that battle in a moment. We'll just stay with this one because Sooty looks left, looks right, looks to go the long way round, hopes Disco outbreaks himself, and Disco doesn't. Gets the job done, stays in front of Sooty. You have a feeling that this could go on for a little while. Yes, you do. Yeah. I don't know if Sooty can get back past him, to be honest. I don't know if he's actually got the pace.
I think the BMW is too strong for that. Yeah. Oh, very much so. But I do think that the BMW is too strong for Sooty to get back through at the moment. You see now Disco's just started to open up that little bit of a gap. And let's drop back to Andy then. He's gaining on the back of X-Mark. The two BMWs will probably be the cars to watch in this one. Now, hang on. Actually, let's go out front, because what's happened to Gary 131? He's lost the lead of this race, and he's lost it big time somewhere.
Yeah, he has, you're right. We didn't see that, but he's dropped back 3 seconds. He's dropped 6 seconds over total, so he must have had a spin somewhere, Matt, mustn't he?
Yeah, he's had a big off somewhere. We didn't see it, but he's lost that lead, and crucially has dropped back further to Disco and BT Targa in terms of their the pit strategies and the battles that will come later in this race then, as I've got a feeling there's a car in the pits towards the back. It's D-Biggs. Yeah, it looks slow on the track map.
Yeah. D-Biggs in the pits again. Sooty hasn't given this one up just yet, but he is falling back a little bit. And
he's made a mistake. Yeah, he's had a bit of a wiggle. I think Andy's on X-Mart here towards turn 1. Yeah, he is. Look, he's having a look at turn 1. Can't get it done. Andy will be getting frustrated behind X-Mart. He knows he needs to get past his Porsche's X-Mart there. Just, using the casual track limits line that people seem to be taking tonight.
Yeah, it seems to be quite be difficult to give a penalty tonight, because there isn't too many that haven't done it.
Exactly right. And
to be fair, I put my hands up. Do you know what I mean? It's really difficult to stay within track limits on that one, and I think there was a time where I may have gone over it.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's run it. Here comes Andy then towards turn 3, looking again at X-Mark. Can't get the move done, and while ever he's stuck behind him, Dan out front just there. Look, you see in the foreground, just getting away. But Andy will try and look. He's having a look to the outside line of X-Mark now. He gets the car alongside X-Mark's, going the longer way around. Yeah. Not really the way to go around this corner. It's not designed for a pass on the outside. But was he looking for a cutback? Because he didn't get one.
Yeah, he pulled that right into the inside just before, didn't he? And it was a nice line, but it was just never going to work in the next corner. So, a bit of Ash Sutton with the way he was pulling that in really tight, and he's got it done now. The power just went past him.
X-Mart! He's had a slide and round he goes. And what's happened to Dan? Dan's had a moment out the final corner. I don't know if he's hit the wall. But he's definitely,
Andy
just
right on the
before
back
you
of him.
cut away there, Kelly, he definitely had a wiggle and had a moment. Disco trying to get on the back of BT. These guys haven't pitted yet, but Andy now, after all that hard work Dan had done to pull away from Andy, as Andy was behind Exmart, Dan's dropped it. The Porsche may be struggling as the conditions get cooler in this night time.
Yeah, Daniel with although it's Delta, he's not. He must have had that spin, that incident a bit earlier in the lap because
it was coming out the last corner. Look at his last lap time at 33.9 to Andy's 32.1. So
lost a couple, didn't he? Yeah,
had a wiggle. Like I say, I don't know if he clipped the wall, but he definitely was closer to the wall and looked like he maybe had a bit of a wiggle coming out the last corner, and he got all close to the pit wall. Whether he touched it, I don't know, but. That's put Andy right on the back of him, and that's going to make this race a little bit more interesting between these two now, because Andy doesn't have to work hard to catch him. He's just got to work hard to get past him.
Yes, these two championship rivals, these two are heading up the championship, and our kind of odds-on favourite that is one of these two. But Disco's still close to BT as well. I keep jumping from BMW to BMW. I don't want to confuse people, but they are the ones on the attack, as Disco is attacking the back of BT, and Andy is on the back of Dan. Look at them both going very, very wide there.
Yep, and that was track limits who, for both of them there is Gary, not really making any inroads on Fury then. Gary, Andy trying to get on the back of Dan, and BT trying to get on the Disco trying to get on the back of BT. And does Andy have a run as someone's trying to join the session, but keeps getting kicked because it's that's twice now. But Andy has a bit of a run. Yeah, exactly. Andy has a bit of a run coming up the start, up the straight towards turn 2, and he's a bit too far back from Dan to have a look. But Dan, I don't know. Is he just struggling with the cooler temperatures here?
I just don't think the Porsche's got the same pace, has it? It's just,
no. But is it struggling more in this second race with the cooler temperatures? I mean, than the first race.
Yeah, it could well be. Do you know what I mean? And you know, Dan is wringing the neck of that 911.
Yeah. Fury's in.
Fury's in for his pits, as you said. You know that Dan is absolutely wringing the neck of that car. So, the BMWs have got the ultimate pace this evening, and we've seen that in lap 1. So Dan is doing all he can to keep Andy behind him. And he's got another half race to go,
Yeah, BT Targa has pitted as well, so that releases Disco and Sutty into second and third. It releases Peaceful into P4, so it means the top 4 have not yet pitted. And Fury, decent stop it looks like, because he's already out the pits. There's BT Targa coming away now. Dan and Andy are coming out the final corner. They haven't got Fury, but Fury was well in front of them before the pit stops anyway. Have they got BT Targa? Because Dan had just got past BT Targa on track, and this could be close now that they're going to have him done.
Yeah, they're going to have him done,
Yeah, barring a mistake at turn 1. No, easy done for them two then, and BT Targa will slot into 8th place ahead of his teammate by some margin. And on the back of these two then, not close to them, but close enough that if anything happens, he'll pick up a couple of places. And you have a feel, look, as Andy looks, and is he going to send one into turn 2? Not there, he's not. And Dan,
not from that angle, he's not.
No. The trajectory was all off there.
Absolutely, Cam.
Yeah, Gary back in the lead from Disco. Sutty, Peaceful, not pitted yet. Fury, 21 seconds behind the race leader. You'd imagine he'll take the race lead back from Gary after the round of pit stops and get Fury 9 seconds up the road from these two. So he is net leader at the moment. This could be net second and third as we go towards the back end of this race. We say about 30 seconds for a pit stop. Well, that'll put Gary behind Unorthodox and just maybe in between. Oh no, Disco!
What's this? Disco's got a penalty.
Sped in the pit lane.
That'll be a 10-second, that one. I know that feeling well.
At least 10 seconds. It could be more, depending on how fast he's gone in. Peaceful pits as well. But that could really have ruined Disco's second race here, pushing just a bit too hard maybe to get into the pits. That then is Fury overtaking them two and getting the jump there. Sutty's now up into second, 11 seconds off the back of Gary. Disco's already done. There's Andy and Dan, look. So Disco was behind these two before the pit stops. He's going to be behind them and maybe BT Targa as he comes out the pits, but has that penalty to his name, so has got to work harder. Peaceful out the pits as well. He'll come out just before Exmart, you'd imagine. And Andy still staring at the back of that Porsche.
Yes, absolutely. So let's have a...
10 seconds.
Disco with a 10-second, as we kind of thought it would be for speeding in the pit lane. They don't mess around with that one. And it only has to be a couple of miles an hour over as well. It is next to nothing. So,
no,
yeah.
You're right. And that at the minute, Kelly, puts him back to P9 behind Xmart.
Yes.
So he's got to get a shift on to score some good points in this second race.
There's a lot of scrapping going on between these championship rivals, which is probably going to give Fury an easy time on this one.
Yeah, I have a feeling as well that Gary might get the job done. Now, I think Sutty's made a mistake somewhere. He's had a big off. I think he's slow as well. Yeah, look, he's just rejoined, so he's had a moment at the chicane. So that in the pits, and we'll lose him a couple of places. You'd imagine he'll bring it in this lap, but that will promote Unorthodox and Andy and Disco relatively soon. Sutty to the inside. Is he still on the inside? He is. He's going into the pits. Oh, Andy.
Yeah. Again, that was nearly in another country, that one. And Disco goes wide as well on the track limits. Oh, I think stewards need to give an awfully big spanking to everybody on these track limits.
Yeah, there's been some push tonight, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has been, and and more than once. Do you know what I mean? But here we are. Anyway, they're all doing it. So sometimes you think, yeah, you might as well just leave them to it and take whatever line you like. At least that way the odds will be even.
The thing is as well here is, if Unorthodox got caught doing it, he could face penalty. He's already been given a warning for track limits at Dubai, bearing in mind that Jamie Brazier put them in. So he's got to be careful with the track limits. Everybody else, you feel that can get away with a bit of a warning to start with and a slap on the wrist, obviously without taking the mickey at times. But yeah, Dan got his warning at Dubai, so you feel that if Dan was to do it, penalty coming his way, depending on what Andy and others and Disco and Xmart, BT, Gary, Fury, everybody have done. You feel that maybe just a slap on the wrist. Dan's got to be careful with his track limits because he's already received his warning.
Yep, absolutely.
Andy. Yeah, big slide, well held.
Very well held. He sorted that one out reasonably quickly. So it even as a court slide goes, it was minimal, just a little.
Yeah. Now, update on Xmart. He's got himself P8 because Sutty's pitted and dropped back to P10. He's also got himself ahead of Xmart by just enough here that'll put him P7 in this race. Or only drop him 2 places behind BT Target and Peaceful Explosion here. So Disco's got to keep going, but Xmart's gaining on Peaceful Explosion. Not seeing much of Peaceful tonight. He's had a bit of a shocker, and he'll look to bounce back next week. But Andy and Disco are hunting down Unorthodox. Gary, the only man to pit, and he's got to pit either this lap or the end of the next lap without breaking the rules. Gary 131. I think Gary's going to come out in this fight, by the way. I think if Gary has a good stop, I think Gary's going to be in front, behind, in the middle. I think Gary will be here after his pit stop.
Fury's already stopped, hasn't he?
Yeah, Fury stopped. I think Fury's won this race.
I think he's got a good chance of it. But
I think Gary's going to be right here though in this fight.
You could be right. So 29 back to Unorthodox. Yeah, could well be right in the middle of this.
That'll be juicy. That'll be juicy. Gary's in.
Here he goes.
Here we go then.
Gary is in the pits.
This is what you've been waiting for. This is all you've waited for all night. You've not come for anything else. You've come for Gary to pit and to get in a fight with Disco, BT, Unorthodox and Andy. And let's see the stop. There is Fury in the background any moment. Gary's stop is average. He's still not great. He's still not moving. He's going now. So there's Fury. You'll see Dan, Andy, Disco, BT in a moment. There they are. Gary is going to be on that. Look, there's the pit line. I think Gary's actually jumped them.
Yeah,
I think Gary's done them.
I think he has,
Yeah, he has. Yeah, no, done. Job's done. Oh, he's not now! Oh, you can't make it up, Gary! Oh, what has he done? He's threw a podium away. Oh, wow.
Oh. Gary.
Disco McDisco Face can now find himself at least P6. He may lose out to Andy, he may lose out to BT. He's well in front of Peaceful, but he could find himself 6th, if not 5th, if he can get in 10 seconds out of Gary. Gary could have had a podium, and he threw that one away.
I'm gutted for him. I really am. That was like I spun myself coming out of the pit lane. That is, that's how I feel about it.
Fury, 7 seconds in the lead from Dan. Dan has 2 seconds back. Little Leach has pitted once again, and he's picked up a 10-second penalty in the pits there as well. Fury leads 7 seconds to Dan. Dan has a second, 2 seconds back to Andy. No, back to Disco. So then two have swapped around. Has Disco been told to try and chase after Dan here?
Maybe, or just again trying to maximise. Is Andy going to drop back now and try and maximise? Andy did say in the interviews that it's all about Disco tonight.
Yeah.
So is there some team play here now?
I tell you another scenario. Disco in front of Dan, maybe hold him up for Andy.
Maybe, but he's got to get in front of Dan first.
Yes, he has got to get in front of Dan. We are on lap 15 of 20. Disco's just done his best lap of the race with a 1:30.2. PN Motorsport, Kirsty says Smithy's just put an emoji of a bloke smacking himself in the face. And I'm sure Gary did that. I'm sure Gary headbutted the steering wheel. I'll have to have words with him at Donington next week, Kelly, as will you, about his pit entry mistakes. Yeah, we'll get good talking to, that's for certain, sure, over a couple of beers with a bit of luck. So Disco, Disco's now been half a lap in front. He's not getting on the back of Dan particularly quickly, is he? He was 4 tenths quicker than Dan on the last lap. Andy is some 6 tenths quicker than Dan. I feel Disco may be sacrificing himself for Andy. Disco is now well clear of Peaceful. He's a couple of seconds to then be clear of Gary, which I think Disco will do in the next 5 laps. I think Disco's trying to pressure Dan. I think Andy's had a go. I think it's now Disco's turn to pressure Dan and maybe get Dan to make a mistake, or maybe get Dan to slow his pace down to help him out with Andy. X-Mart still trying to catch Peaceful here. And this for P7 and 8 in this one. Peaceful not had a strong night at all, has he?
No. Let's have a chat about this guy, though, shall we? Would this be Fury's first pro win?
First pro win. Took 13 wins in the Pro-Am last season. It would be his first pro win. And who did I tip for the race win in this one?
Fury.
Exactly.
Yeah, I said it was a good shout.
You tipped Gary.
I did.
And, well...
I did. I really wanted Gary to do well. That's why, and he's got the class. What's going on with the Beamers now, then?
Yeah, they seem to be fighting each other more than doing anything. Andy did a 29.8, so Andy flying on the last lap. Is Disco letting Andy back through? He has done, yeah. So Disco's let Andy through. And this gap to Dan is only 6 tenths, which is not a lot to Dan. And,
Do you think they're saying to themselves, you have a go at him? No, you have a go at him. Is that what's going on in the chat with these two?
I wonder if Andy backed off to save some tyres, Maybe cool the tyres before having a late charge.
You think?
I don't know. I don't know how the BMW holds its tyres, and I don't know what the tyres are looking like tonight. With it being cooler weather, you'll have more of an insight to that than me. But I think Andy was maybe cooling his tyres and then having one last go at Dan.
I think they've probably gone, Andy's gone, right, go on, Disco, you have a crack at him, see if you can catch him. And when that wasn't happening, Disco said, right, go on then, you have a crack at him.
Andy's within half a second now, isn't he? So Andy is close as ever. 29.8 last time for Andy. He was a second quicker than Dan on the last lap. And down this lap they come. Fury crosses to start lap 17. Here come these boys to start lap 17. And let's look at Andy's lap time compared to Dan's. Dan 30.4, Andy 29.6. So Andy gains a further 8 tenths on that lap. And through turn 1. And yeah, that's just 2 wheels over the curbs there. Again, the amount of people you've seen do it though as well, that's the thing. But here goes Andy, flashing Dan. And is he going to make a move into turn 1? Dan doesn't defend it. Into turn 2. Dan doesn't defend it. Andy has a late look. Sends Dan to defend now. He's going to look the long way. Surely the cutback's the move to do. Dan, like Jason Plato-esque, parks it on the apex and says, get past that one. Cannot get it done there then. Andy then will have a good run and look down towards turn 3. But Dan as well gave himself a good run as he stopped it on the apex to get the power out. And he's going to look to defend into 3. Gets that one done nice and easy. Disco nearly slides into the back of his teammate. He's right on this as well. He's now 10 seconds ahead of Gary, so may only lose out to BT Targa and finish P5, so not bad for Disco. But Andy really starting to get on the back of Dan here. And is this pressuring Dan enough?
I think it's certainly enough pressure, but will he crack under the pressure? And to use a Brundle, you're either giving pressure or you're taking pressure. And Dan's certainly taking the pressure, and he doesn't want to let either of these BMs through, does he?
No, he knows he needs a good result against these two. He knows.
Yeah.
He's not bothered. I think he's not bothered about Fury getting the race win. Dan knows he's got to keep these BMWs behind him. He's got to keep these BMWs at bay. Go on, N-Dubs, defend, says Smithy in the chat. A flash of the lights from an Orthodubs to start lap 18. And here comes Andy on to Dan into turn 1. Is it going to happen? It's not going to happen here. Disco is right with them as well. And Andy looks for the better run out the corner. And I think he got a bit of a better run than Dan, as they come now up the hill towards turn 3. Disco's having a look on his teammate here, and it's all getting close between the three of them. And I tell you what, I wouldn't fancy anybody here to be an incident, should I say. Disco to the outside of Andy. Andy looks up the inside. Has he got a cut back? No, he hasn't. And he's slow out the corner, and Disco now has a chance to get it done.
Yes, indeed. Disco went right round the outside. I don't know what these guys are doing. I don't know where their strategy is. Do you know what I mean? But Disco went right round the outside, and then Andy kind of just came straight off it.
I think Andy was looking for the gap on the cutback and didn't get it and had slowed down before losing the car. The thing is with Disco is if he doesn't stay with this pack, Kelly, he's going to lose the places to Gary and maybe Exmar in this race. So he's kind of got to stay with them and pressure them to get that place, to get them places further down because of his own error. He's touched the gravel. He's round. So that's out the window. And now we get 2 laps of Andy. He's flashing his lights. Is that for other drivers to see that there is a spinning BMW on the grass? That promotes BT Targa. That will promote Gary. That could possibly promote X Martin Peaceful. It could even give D Biggs another couple of points.
And what's it going to do to Disco overall? Because he's got that 10-second penalty.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean with D Biggs. He could drop down as far as D Biggs and Peaceful Explosion. We'll have to see. Lap 19 of 20. Fury has a 6.5-second lead here. A lot of people cheering for Dan in the chat to hold on. Andy now has 2 laps to go at him. But has he lost his rear gunner?
Looks like it. It was a tag team thing from the 2 of them. So Andy's got to do it all on his own because it's Disco's been knocked out of this one. We said we were talking about motorsport being like a boxing match, and that's one knocked out.
Yeah. Well done, Liam.
Yeah, well done, Liam. Maybe it is like boxing.
As we get towards the end of this one, then, Dan is really trying to stay in front of Andy. That gap 0.7 of a second. There's still a lap and a half to go in this one. Dan doing all he can. He's doing his dandist to keep in front. I thought, do I go with dandist? But no, I didn't want to sound like an idiot.
Well, too late.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing his dandist to stay in front of Andy. Can he do this one? Smithy in the chat, you spin me right round, baby. Right round.
Wow. Like a disco.
Like a disco in the Red Bull Ring in the night, in the twilight at Styria. Andy's wide onto the gravel.
Out there now.
Yeah, that's not the part of the track that gives you the best grip to have a run. DJ Phil in the chat, go Andy. He says, it's like the Power Rangers, isn't it? Go Power Rangers.
Andy.
Yeah, exactly. 1 lap to go. Fury leads the way. He's out the final corner. Fury will lead across the line to start the last lap. Who could deny this man a race win? His first win in the Pro. What a season he's having. Where's his teammate to back him up? If Liam was here, they'd be having a massive party. Andy has 2 temps to Dan. You feel he has to make a move this lap. This could be, at the end of the season, these guys could look at this and go, this is where my championship was won. Or lost. This is a defining moment, yes, indeed. As Andy is so close to him. So close. Dan's going to come across and try and defend. Again, Andy's going to make Andy go all the way round, long way round. He might have it done, I think he has got it done. They side by side. They door up there. And has Andy got the traction out the corner? Andy did very well up the hill. And I think that BMW might just be ahead of the Porsche. They're still side by side as they come back down the hill towards turn 3. And I think Andy's legs just are long enough to stretch in front. He gives Dan the room on the inside. And a tap from Dan on the rear. And round he goes. And how consequential could that be in the championship? A tap from Dan, Andy round, and look who's on the podium now. Not just on the podium, but into second place. Yeah, into second place. Dan lets Andy back through, rightly so from Dan. We said about it at Dubai, Jamie Brazier and Unorthodox. We've now had Andy and Unorthodox.
Yeah.
Let's cut to Fury though, because this man's at the final corner of the track. I tipped him for the race win. I said Fury's the man to get this one done. He's going to be a first win in the Pro. The Wakisaki Racing team go crazy, and Fury gets the job done. What a win! Team Prolapse, they will be screaming from the rooftops. 119's your car. That one is the 119 mobile, and BT Targa will take a second place ahead of Andy for P3. Disco then will come across P4, but we'll have to P5, but we'll wait to see where he finishes. Dan gets P4. Gary crosses. He gets 5th place from Disco. McDisco facing this one then. Here comes Xmart. He doesn't get Disco, so Disco hangs on for P6. Xmart will come across the line in P7 with Peaceful P8. I'm sure Peaceful will take a P8 there. P9.
What's he doing all the way up there?
Yeah, I don't know what Sutty's doing. D Biggs will finish P9.
Yeah.
Not the night for Biggs, has it? Not a night for him at all.
No, but he was plumb last at one point, so a little bit of recovery from Biggs. Monkey Boy is going to come around in 11th, and it's going to be poor old Craig is going to be last place man, unfortunately.
Poor little Leach.
But hey, what a race from this guy! Awesome.
Yeah, we look for the fastest lap of the race now to see who got that. But we'll get Fury and BT Target in as well for an interview, because what a fascinating race. Fastest lap, Andy, 29.6. So Andy's taken some real good points tonight and finishes ahead of Dan once again. And while we await the drivers to come in for their interviews, we wait for Fury and BT Target to get in. We wait for Andy to come back in the party as well. Let's just sort these tables out. Kelly, though, talk us through that.
Wow, yeah, and Red Bull didn't disappoint, did it? And we have got a proper championship battle on our hands, haven't we? You know, Andy and Dan going for it there. Unfortunately, come together at the end there, just on the last lap. But the championship goes on, and great result. I'm liking the look of that podium. And game on. Matt,
game on indeed. We're not going to get BT in because the kids are in bed, so he's not going to be able to come in for a podium. But what I will do is I'll just run through the championship standings. Dan, on Orthodox then, 2nd place behind Andy by 35 points. He's lost out a further 3 points. Disco still in 3rd place, only 3 points ahead of Fury, and Fury's still got double points to take. Gary stays in P5. He could have been right up there on that Disco Fury battle if he hadn't span out the pit lane then. Gary is P5. Xmart's up to 6th ahead of D Big. Sutty's 8th ahead of BT Targa in 9th place. Good result for BT, although I don't feel that his points changed there. Let me just double check. That would be because I gave Xmart 2nd and BT and nobody else 7th. So let me just change that one. 2 seconds.
Yes, indeed. And it'll be when we have the interview with Fury in just a moment. He was complaining that he was as sick as a dog in practice earlier. So not bad for a man who was couldn't drive practice because he was too ill. He was telling us.
BT Target is up to 6th place. D-Biggs is 7th. Xmart is now 8th. Sutty's 9th. Peaceful's up to 10th. Lidleach 11th. Monkey Boy 12th. Phil, Jamie, Liam, Mazda all at the bottom. Slingshot Motorsport have a 74-point lead over Shake and Bake in the constructors. The Leachy losers are down to 4th as Team Prolapse go up into 3rd place. Wakisaki Racing then are in 5th with GQ Motorsport just behind them, and Run Flat Racing not far off the back of them boys. And we've only got Fury and we haven't got Andy in, and we're getting no BT, so we will speak with Fury. But Fury, you've won your first race in the Pro League. That was a good job.
Yeah, it was quite a difficult one. For some reason the car just did not feel anything like it did earlier. There was no grip whatsoever with even increased downforce, and it was just fighting the car more than I was fighting anyone else.
Gary made a mistake early on that let you through. Did you think at one stage that Dan and Andy and everybody was coming to catch you, or was you just confident that you had this one done?
It was a bit of both, because I was the car just was not what I expected. I was fighting it more than I was doing anything else, and then obviously the pace of the BMW and the Porsche compared to the Merc with no grip, it was I was ready.
Yeah. Sorry,
go on, sorry, Kelly, go on.
I suppose you didn't realise that that Porsche, Dan and Andy were going at it hammer and tongs just to get in front of each other, I suppose. But are you feeling a little bit better now, Fury?
Not really, no.
Well, at least you can have a smile on your face saying that you've got your first pro win. Maybe that'll make you sleep better tonight.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Image of coming across the line.
Well done, Fury, mate. We'll let you get to it as we'll grab a word with Andy then. And Andy pressured him all race. Got him at the end.
Yeah, it's a good round for me in all honesty. Gained on Dan in both races, so that's the most important thing because obviously he's got a net double points over me. So obviously, I know that I need to make sure that the gap is big enough to kind of account for that. But yeah, it was a great battle for most of the race, and it spilled over on the last lap. But that's just a normal last lap battle, isn't it? Really, you know, both of us going for it, leaving nothing out there. I knew it was like my last chance to get the move done. Dan knew that he had to defend it, and he just sort of tagged the rear of me. I was as far to the left as I could go, but very sportsmanlike. He gave me the position back straight away, so can't say any more.
Yeah, cracking battle towards the end. You had great pace out there as well. Like you say, gaining that points because you know Dan's got a championship, a double point to take, and obviously that's crucial for the championship. Big week last week, big week this week for yourself. That's 2 back-to-back here. Really starting to find the form of that BMW.
Yeah, again, it's really, I'm really sort of getting better in it week in, week, or no, every week really. Every week I'm finding more and more about it and getting more confident with it. But I'm still trying to iron out those creases. I mean, start of this race, I don't know if you noticed early on in the race, I did have a moment at the beginning of this race. I dropped down to the back. I was about 10 seconds off the lead at one point. But so yeah, there's still work to be done. I'm still struggling to get the tyres warmed up. So still need to work on that, I think.
Andy, tell me what your and Disco's kind of in race chat is going on, because you swapped positions a few times. Was it a case of you saying to Disco, go on, you have a crack at him, see if you can catch him, and then you swap it back and having the other way round? Because you keep swap positions a little bit. No,
I made a mistake actually coming through turn 4. You got that double left-hander. It's sort of like a U-turn. It's like turn 4 and 5. And I made a mistake, a huge mistake coming through there. Managed to correct it, but the suspension was wobbling all over the place. So I ended up sort of losing it out of the next corner after that. And Disco managed to get past me. And then I managed to get onto back onto Disco again. At which point I was on the back of him coming up the straight towards 2, and he just said to me, go for it, because at that point I think he had the 10-second penalty, so he knew that it would be silly to sort of stay in front when he's got the penalty. So yeah, it was basically like have a crack. But him getting past me was me making a mistake. I didn't let him pass at any point. So I made a mistake, he got past, I got back onto him, he let me pass.
Great night for yourself, great night for the team as well to score some big points. Daytona next week, different story do you feel around there, or do you think you can attack Dan once again?
I think that it'd be good for us because the BMW is actually not too bad down the straight. It's not the best, but it's certainly got a lot more than the Ginetta has. So yeah, I think the BMW and the Porsche are actually reasonably even. It's only really at the top end of the straights. I'd say it's got reasonable acceleration, but I'd say but definitely coming up down the fastest parts of Daytona, the Porsche is going to have the legs on it. But I know the infield section is going to suit the BMW, so I'm reasonably confident. So you should be all right.
Well, best luck, mate. We wish you all the best for next week as well. Kelly, final thoughts from yourself as well as a driver of the day.
Oh, driver of the day, good one. Do you know what? I think Andy and Dan and Disco were all really good drives tonight, but they're all in the championship battle, and that's what we expect from these guys, you know. So I'm going to give it to Fury tonight for his first race win in pro. We've said a lot about Fury over the last few months about how he's improved, and it's obvious in his results. So I'm going to give my driver of the day to Fury tonight for that race win. But honourable mentions to Andy, to Dan, to Disco, and to BT. He's got the prettiest car on the grid there, hasn't he?
Yeah, not too bad himself. Again, I echo that. Great honourable mention to Andy, Dan, Disco, BT. I'll give a shout out to Gary as well, because I feel like Gary's had a decent second race. But I'm with you with that. Fury for his first pro win, I think deserves the driver of the day. Is improving every week. We're back live Monday night for the finale of the Renault Clios. Then can Unorthodox beat Falguest to the title? 10 points is the difference. Can he keep enough fuel in his car? That's the biggest question instead of the title. 10 points the difference in that one. We're live at Brands Hatch GP from 8 p.m. p.m. BST. Make sure you join us for that one. We're live then next week for Pro and Prime at Donington Park, or at Daytona for the second night race of the season. For that one. We're at Donington Park for real next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'd say tune in. I'd say tune in for that one, but there'll be no live feed from there. But either way, that'll be brilliant. I'd love to see that. We
worked it out. Gin bar, and more gin bar, and the merchandise.
The KLF gin bar, the Peaceful merchandise stand, and the Sooty Apex Drunk Driving School.
Absolutely, that's the one. So we will be actually at Donington Park. As a group of us, if you want to come join us, we would love for you to come and join us. Come and say hello. You'll know who we are. We'll be the Loud and Larry lot.
Yeah, that's all we've got time for though tonight. We enjoyed your company and all the likes and subscriptions you have gave to the channel for tonight. We'll be back next week. Make sure you tune us for that one. Take care. Good night.
Good night.
Well done, Fury. We couldn't catch you there. You was
Fury! Even though you feel like sack of shit, mate, congratulations, bud. You finally got a pro win. Well done, bud.
Yeah, he smashed it. We were all sort of sat in a line and we couldn't catch up. Gap was staying 7-8 seconds the whole way.
I think Gary would have been second had he not.
Probably had a swig of nightmares.
I think Gary would have got second had he not dropped it out the pits.
Yeah,
Put his foot down coming up the hill and he went straight into the wall. It was funny as I bet Dan was pissing himself.
I was looking around thinking, where's he gone?
I was really hoping that Gary would have kept it because he would have slotted perfectly between me and Andy.
No, I had the legs on him, I think, I had the legs anyway.
Yeah, no, Andy's right. He was just going to probably slip in just behind Disco.
Yeah, but we know what Gary's like. He would have sent it in turn one, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Especially in that Renault. He knows what that brakes are like.
Yeah, but it's not as strong as that Porsche, though. It's not as good. Because the Porsche, if you hit the Porsche, you're always going to come second. You're always going to come worse off.
Oh, that was good.
It's hard as nails at the back, isn't it?
That was good. That was great battling.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
It's just the last lap, but it just boiled over. That's one of them things, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I just... Rookie error, trying to hold it.
Terrible. Plato-esque.
Yeah, race one, feel free to put in the stewards if you feel like I fucked him out, but... honestly, I'll tell you from the bottom of my heart, I wasn't intended to fuck you over. It was just
by the way, mate,
trying to get him past.
Anything that goes in isn't like
personal. I know that. I know.
It's the game. I'm just saying.
It is what it is.
This is an opportunity that I can, of course.
No, that was a good fight at the end, though, boys. Well done.
Well, I mean, if I get like a 10-second penalty or something for race one, it'll drop me down to third. It would put you on to second. I mean, I would hope it doesn't. I don't think. I think it's a 50. I think it could go either way. It really could go either way.
It's up to the stewards at the end of the day. It's not down to us. So,
right.
Whatever they decide is whatever they decide.
I'm going to jump into the other party to chat to Peaceful and stuff. I'm going to disconnect this mic and put my other one on. So, guys, catch yous all later. Well done tonight, boys. Who